Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Sports Center is brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on the Fan, the Blazers look to stay red hot tonight, going for their 5th win in a row, 9th out of their last 10. They're taking on the Pacers in the Moda Center. Pacers are favored by 5.5. Total is set at 231.5. Tip-off for that game at 7. The Dallas Mavericks are traveling to Philly to take on the 76ers tonight. We won't get our first look at the Mavs with Anthony Davis. He's out with a foot injury. No Joel Embiid either. He's out still dealing with his knee injury. Philly favored by 3.5, tip-off at 4. In Miami, despite asking for a trade from the organization, Heat star Jimmy Butler has made it clear to the Golden State Warriors he does not plan on signing a contract extension with the team if they trade for him. This has essentially stopped any trade talks of Butler to the Warriors. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the...
What's better?
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, welcome in! Happy Tuesday, everybody. Danny and Dusty with you. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Sun is shining.
Snowed at my house last night.
Did it?
Yeah.
How much you get?
I mean, enough to where it stuck to the deck.
Oh!
I was a little fearful.
Yeah, dude,
About
Dex.
1:30 in the morning.
Have I ever told you the story of,
The deck that got you?
yeah.
No.
Oh boy. So in our old, like, I lived in a house where you'd have to go, like, on the deck and go out to a detached garage, and that's where the washer dryer was.
Ooh.
And I had my daughter. She was like maybe not even a year. Icy on the deck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm holding her. She was like sick. Boom. Slip. I go up. It's like slow motion. Like, I'm like, oh no. And I go to, like, catch my daughter, and boom, I hit the deck, dislocate my shoulder, and as that happens, I hit her legs, and her face just slam.
You
right
speed
into
up the
deck.
fall.
I'm like, uh-oh.
Good thing they're resilient then.
I go straight into the doctor, and I'm like, you're like a new dad. I have no idea
You're
what's going
freaking
on
out.
here. Yeah, I'm like, did I just kill my kid?
Yeah.
It's big old welt in the middle of her forehead, and I'm like, oh no, like, this is not good. Doctor's like, very stone cold this dude was.
No bedside
He
manner.
wasn't like the normal pediatrician. He's like, yeah, this happened to my child. Slipped and hit the bumper of a car. And I was like, and?
Super dead.
He's like, oh, he's fine now. And I was like, God, dude. What is wrong with you?
Quit lingering.
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't mess with Dex anymore.
Come on
I don't
now.
mess with Dex.
No.
That freaked me out.
No, mine is. I'm in the process of eventually ripping it out, so it does not have the last year's sealant on it because it's getting ripped out. So it is an icy deck of doom.
Yeah, dude, that's brutal.
Oh, there's 3 stairs up out of the back of my house that goes up because it's got a hot tub. It's like an elevated deck because it's got the hot tub built around it, or the deck is built around the hot tub, and it's massive. It's like 20 by 40. I mean, it's enormous. And it's going to be such a nightmare to rip out.
Yep.
But I've got the 2 little dogs, and I could hear them coming across the deck, and they both go to stop, and they went and
Boom,
just slid across the deck into each other.
No, I don't like ice walking on it. I'm more comfortable driving on it because I'm in a car where it's warm.
That's the only difference is you're warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
I don't trust anybody around here. on the ice.
Snowmageddon, get ready for it. It's
It's
definitely all gonna melt.
It's got pushed out, but it looks like there's like a 2-day chance now.
I don't buy it.
It's getting real cold finally. We're getting into the 20s.
Yeah. Still don't
Feels
buy it.
late for that, doesn't it?
It was in the 20s earlier, though.
Yeah.
Did
Just snow. I don't understand snow and how it works.
Yeah, me neither. If it's clear, who cares?
I just don't like the freezing rain. When they tell me freezing rain's coming, I'm like, we're screwed. This whole city's
yeah.
going to be just.
We were fine last year.
They don't.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to handle
They
it.
did break a scraper though.
See? See, well, people think of the scrapers.
Well, no one told me that we had canceled all the shows, so
Yeah.
I came in.
Oh.
Can I
see?
say the scraper thing? This is
True professional.
one of the biggest
Yes,
squirrel
I am.
moments I've ever seen. There is a woman on social media. I don't know the name of the instrument. It's like the Japanese like 3-string guitar. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
I
know what
know-
you're talking about.
okay,
I'm
I know
out
the
on
video.
naming of instruments.
I don't know. Like normally, I'm pretty good about that stuff. I do
Mhm.
not know what that thing is called. But there is a woman that plays like modern songs on that guitar
Okay.
with an ice scraper
Hmm.
as a pick, and it is like what was it playing? Welcome to the Jungle.
So could
And I was
she,
like, huh?
could she play this without the ice?
I don't know.
scraper?
Maybe probably.
No, that's part of the design. I have it up here.
Well, is that like just a shtick that is, or
makes
does
it
the
stick
ice
out.
scraper make it sound?
No, that's an actual part of the instrument. I have a picture of the instrument right here.
Okay.
Shamisen. Not even gonna try and do it.
I didn't follow that.
Shamisen.
That's definitely not it.
Well, that it is spelled SHAMISEN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shamisen.
Yeah, I understand. Like you're definitely
Shamisen.
You're Americaning the what.
Are
out
you
of that.
trying to say that I'm the ugly white guy here?
Maybe, but it's okay. You
Shamisen.
don't know. Shamisen.
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 I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
say
like
it's-
Shams.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. Don't know how we got here, but
I told you, total squirrel
we're
moment playing with an ice
here.
scraper. Oh no, it actually like is an ice scraper that they play with.
Oh,
But she was
I don't
actually
think
playing
that's
with like.
probably what they call it.
I mean, no. I mean, the one she was actually playing with was legitimately an ice scraper. Like
Mm.
that was the thing. I was like, why? What? What is happening here?
yeah.
But
Great
yeah,
little
she's
tools.
again. She's he mentioned ice scraper, and that my squirrel brain went to that immediately because I saw it like 2 nights ago, and I was like, that's pretty rad. Also, ice scraper is that metal? I don't know. Does that make this more metal or?
Don't know
I-
what's going.
It's just such a
on
random
here.
thing, but it was very cool.
Okay, we need to have a quick discussion about this real quick. Sports related. We didn't talk about this yesterday. The Raiders hired Chip Kelly.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. In the NFL, they need to step their game up on their graphics. Your beloved Raiders have a great tweet because they're in Vegas, and the tweet is stacking chips. And it says, Coach Kelly, welcome to the silver and black. It has a picture of Chip with his headset on and a black, jacket. But they didn't even like put the Raiders logo over. It's his UCLA. It's him at UCLA. And
Oh,
they
yeah,
didn't
the,
even
the Photoshop work is not good here.
like the college game is far superior in the Photoshop. You just don't they know you just put your logo over the top of it?
yeah.
I mean,
Also, why would they grab the UCLA one and not the Ohio State one?
I know he kind of slimmed down at Ohio State a little bit.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. You need to step the game up. I like the stack and chips part.
No, it's
And-
great. It's a great name.
And we got to talk about that today because Chip Kelly was hired as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. We basketballed so hard yesterday. We didn't even get to that.
No. We have more basketball to get to today,
we-
surprisingly.
No, we definitely do. We're going to have a lot of
Okay,
it's
it's-
basketball season.
yeah, But I mean, it's
and Super Bowl week.
Super Bowl
but-
week, but it's basketball season, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of basketball today. We're also gonna talk Super Bowl. It was Super Bowl opening night last night.
Yeah,
I think it's lost its luster.
it's because we have access to these guys all the time now. So
Well,
stupid questions are asked all the time, and
well,
you know.
yeah, everybody has their podcast, and that's
Yeah.
we get the steady stream of these takes throughout the entire course of the year. So it's not nearly as cool as it used to be.
no.
When you hear guys say all this stupid stuff on Micah Parsons' podcast, you don't really need to hear it.
No.
On opening night of the Super Bowl, but
It's kind of like a All-Star weekend, where that used to be the place where everybody got to see their favorite players.
yeah,
Like Super Bowl, like we've heard about the Sirianni and Jalen stuff, Saquon and the Giants. I mean, he was asked about it again. It was like, okay,
we get it.
we get it. I think there's some, as much as the leagues try to like wring every ounce of juice out of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the squeeze is gone.
Yeah.
There's no juice left.
We might actually get a decent broadcast for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah. The NFL has lifted Tom Brady's restrictions on communication with teams for the Super Bowl.
that's interesting.
Yeah. So
If I can do it for one game, why can't...
if you don't know, Tom Brady, because he's a part owner of the Raiders, he cannot go to team facilities. He cannot talk with players or coaches of other teams because he's currently an owner of the Las
So
Vegas
weird.
Raiders. And so his game prep is basically just he looks at stats.
that and all 22.
And then, yeah, he talks to Kevin Burkhardt and gets whatever Kevin Burkhardt got from the teams, and that's all his prep that he does. And
Which
just
is like-
talks about his knowledge.
Which, I mean, you talk to Burkhardt, you get everything you're going to get anyways. It's like,
Yeah, I feel there's some really good follow-up questions
Oh,
that
sure,
you can
yeah.
ask, though, and you can get, like, the color guy usually leads those meetings. So you'll have, like, the play-by-play guy and the color guy will be in a room with the head coach and the sideline reporter, and they have just, like, they kind of pepper them with questions, and then if you select players come in, they do the same thing with, some tidbits and details so that they can go into the game and not be totally surprised. Like, everybody's like, Tony Romo, he's predicting plays. No, Tony Romo is taking what he was told in the meetings and using those to give very well-educated guesses of what's coming, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about, hey, when they come up on, third down, we've noticed this, and it's like you don't say anything,
no, there's a trust factor there, 100%.
and it will be gone.
Yeah, if you
ever burn
violate
'em.
that, I mean, you lose your job type stuff.
But as a color commentator, you're watching the game saying, yeah, we talked about this, here it comes. And then that's when the predictive nature of the play calls comes.
you can narrow it down because you've seen everything as a quarterback for a decade.
That's right. And now Tom Brady will have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get a good broadcast for the Super Bowl.
I mean, I get it that he shouldn't be a part of stuff, but also, why?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, says the Raiders fan who knows that Tom Brady and the rules, there's been a malleable relationship.
Well, I
with
thought
Tom
he was.
and the
I thought he
rules.
was an angel and a saint. He never did any of those things.
Oh, he is.
Oh, okay.
He is.
Which side of the fence are you on now?
I'm
Dusty?
just saying that the public perception of this is that Tom and the rules.
What's good for
are
the
malleable.
goose is good for the gander.
And we can talk about this all now. He owns the Raiders now. They're not taking those Super Bowls away from him. So maybe he would have a little tampering involved. It's Tom, for goodness sakes. But this is to your point of what you said, it is pretty dumb. It's like, yeah, Tom Brady meeting with Patrick Mahomes before a game is really going to sway Patrick Mahomes to leave the Chiefs and go to the Raiders.
Yeah, it's like,
No, it's not.
come on,
No, it's not.
we're fine here.
This is not going to happen. All right. Look at that. We sported some.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. We sported a little bit. A little bit. All right. Let's get the show on the road because we got to stay on topic and stay on track because it is Super Week. We have some Super Bowl stuff. The NBA trade deadline is looming on Thursday.
Vastly approacheth.
Yeah. But where this show's got to start, the Portland Trailblazers are winners of 8 of their last 9 games. And it's bigger than you think on the surface of what is happening here. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. The Portland Trailblazers win their 4th consecutive game and 8 of the last 9 with a 121-119 win in overtime
Dun, 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 dun.
over the Phoenix Suns last night.
Quite the game. Quite the game. First overtime game of the season.
Really?
Yeah. First OT game of the season. Haven't gotten there.
Well, I'll be
They've
damned.
gotten close a couple times. Yeah, I think they're one of the last teams to have it too.
Wow.
Yeah.
1-0 all time.
But beyond that, number one, that Suns team, they're
Yeah.
not good.
Oh. Okay.
They're not good. Like they have Beal, they have Durant, and they have Booker. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
And more nights than others, they just have Durant and Booker, and who both, my God, are they incredible. Shots they hit last night were
Shot makers.
bonkers. Except for that one Kevin Durant 3 that hit the side of the backboard. Good gravy. What the hell was that?
There was a lot of weird that happened last night in that game where you have side of backboard, you have a behind the hoop wedgie
Mm-hmm.
that happened. You had Devin Booker thankfully missing a free throw.
Oh, look, the Blazers won this game, but boy, did the Suns fumble it.
Denny Avdia allowing those free throws to happen. That foul was the look on Denny's face. It said it all.
Yeah.
Like he was embarrassed
You're like,
that he fouled Devin Booker in that
Yeah.
situation. And
And KD and Book both had, I want to say they had combined 3 or 4 threes late in the fourth
yeah.
to basically win the game,
Well,
to put things away, and they just bricked them. And they were butt naked, wide open in the corner, which those guys never get. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal,
this is all a drop.
Kevin Durant, those guys, they never get those looks. Like,
Mhm.
because you're not helping off the strong side corner off Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
And yet the Blazers did because they got put in rotation far too often, but they didn't capitalize on those shots. And, I mean, the biggest story of the night, though, is DeAndre Ayton.
Dude, I was going to say the most surprising part might have been DeAndre Ayton going 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He's shooting like 65% from the line
It's because he hasn't taken many free throws.
on the season.
Yeah.
He goes 7 of 8, and in the most critical moments, he ends up sealing the game at the free throw line. And he was a force, and he has been a force over this stretch. And this is why you can say the Blazers aren't stumbling into these wins, even though last night a lot of weird happened. They've been playing good basketball. They've won 8 of their last 9 games, which was 7 of those wins have come against teams that are currently in playoff position in either the East or the West. And it's not a fluke that you end up winning those games. And to think of the last time the Blazers won 8 of 9. Do you know when that was?
2019.
No, it was the 2020-2021
Okay.
season, the abbreviated season coming off the COVID bubble year. They won 8 of their last 9 games, or I think they lost like the second to last game, but it was right near the end of the season. They won 8 of 9 in that surge to get into the 5 seed, right?
Mhm.
Or is it the 6 seed? 6. I think they were 6 seed in 2020,
It all
2021.
sticks
It was
in
the
my head.
last time they made the playoffs.
Mhm.
It was a year that, I mean, the last joy that we've had as Portland Trailblazer fans. It's very rare that you win 8 of 9 games. Hell, the last time the Blazers won 4 games in a row was the very beginning of the 2022-23 season.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And now they've done that twice in the last 9 games. They've won 4 in a row. They're actually playing good basketball. And DeAndre Ayton, my God, he was special last night.
What's interesting is he started the game, I want to say either 5 of 9 or 5 of 10. I can't remember exactly what he was. But he went 1 for 8 or 1 for his next 9. And they weren't shots that he misses. He left a bunch of shots short and off and missed. And it's just the Blazers went small for a little while, and it wasn't working because the Suns were just hunting whoever they wanted to get Kevin Durant on, whoever is the shortest player on the court, whether it's Scoot Henderson or Anthony Simons.
Seems like a good
And
plan.
honestly, I thought both of them did really well as far as to try to take away what you can, but he's 7 foot tall and releases it at the top, and there's just nothing you can do to get to that thing. And when he hits those shots, you just go, yeah. He's coming into the game last night. He was 53 points short of 30,000 for his career. Devin Booker just set the Suns' all-time scoring record last night. Like, those are 2 professional scorers. But as it pertains to DeAndre Ayton, even in spite of kind of falling off the rails a little bit, he didn't stop giving the attention to detail and effort and energy on defense. He still hit the glass incredibly hard. I mean, he comes up with a 2020 game. I mean, they needed every last ounce for him to step up and knock down those free throws. You remember?
It's huge.
Remember the last time that DeAndre Ayton had clutch free throws was with the Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trailblazers? He was on the other side of that, and Damian Lillard told him he wasn't good enough at that moment.
Oh yeah.
Stars too bright,
Yeah.
and he choked.
That's great.
He didn't last night.
Well, Dame wasn't there to tell him he's going to choke.
I mean, but he stepped up and knocked him down. I mean, he has been, and we talked about this yesterday. He has been one of the biggest factors for them in this run.
Yeah.
Like the fact that not only can they rely on him offensively, but they can rely on him defensively. You can rely on him to secure rebounds. Like he is so key to what they are doing and letting everybody else do.
Yeah.
It's huge.
He is only the 7th Blazer ever to have a 25-point, 20-rebound game.
Yeah, it's a monster night.
The others to do it, LaMarcus Aldridge did it 5 times. Zach Randolph did it twice.
Gobble, Mr. Rebound.
Arvydas Sabonis, Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey, Yusuf Nurkic all did it once.
Wow, was that Nurk's 5x5 game against Sacramento?
He had 28 points, 20 rebounds. Let me see. 8 assists, 6 blocks.
Yeah, that's his 5x5 game.
Yeah.
It was against the Kings. Yeah, I remember that game was bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers. God, I'm surprised Jerome didn't have more.
Jerome did it one time,
Yeah.
and he went for 34 and 20.
Good Lord.
Mercy.
Good. He was just such a monster on the glass. I would have figured he would have found a way to make that happen.
Yep. But, I mean, that kind of highlights just how rare
It's
those
rare.
occurrences
Yeah,
are.
25-20 games are monsters, man. I mean, he missed a ton of shots last night, which he doesn't normally do, but
Yeah.
he kept going.
Only, I mean, he's the 7th guy to do it, and it's only been done 12 times in franchise history.
And it's not like this team has been short on rebounding scores.
No.
It's actually one of the things
I'm
they've done really good with.
Surprised Bill Walton wasn't on there?
Yeah.
You know, maybe Maurice Lucas.
Maybe Maurice, yeah.
Like, you know.
And even as limited as time as he played, that Greg didn't get one is kind of surprising.
Yeah. He
Even
was dominant.
I mean, because he had a
dominant.
couple games where you just went, "Oh God."
This is, it feels like a fluke, but it also
He's been playing with
doesn't
this.
because they've been playing really well
Yeah.
right now. And it's not a signal or a beacon to this team turning things around, even though, like, hey, 53 and 29 might be in play. Who's to say? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll just win out.
They're not going to.
Oh,
play
okay.
in.
They're not going to go 53 and
They're
29.
not even going to make for the play-in because
Oh, man.
there's something you have to remember.
Mm.
The pick that they still owe the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
And if you look at where they're at standings-wise, they're just kind of in this space of like, they're really not going to get above it, and they're really not going to get below it.
Well, that sucks.
I mean, the math just isn't mathing now. I don't think they can get down to the 5 spot.
Don't we? I mean, and this is a big issue because last night it was apparent, and it continues to be apparent on the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. It's apparent. Blazer fans aren't happy necessarily with the winning that is happening,
Mhm.
and because the signal was sent out, this year isn't about wins and losses. This win is about development,
Mhm.
and fans have done a very good job of rewiring themselves to say losses mean more.
Mhm.
This team is not playing like that.
No.
And that's why it's a really odd spot to be in, is because it's like, wait, we were told the losses are good, and now this team, the growth and development, which is what the signal was at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
it's actually
It's happening.
happening.
And that's the thing that organizationally that I've been told is like, they're not going to, you can't tell these guys that winning matters and teach them what winning matters. And then when they start winning too much, sit them down and tell them no.
Yeah.
And you can do that with the vets, which again, I still believe very strongly they will do. Maybe not the day after the trade deadline or after the All-Star break, but very quick afterwards.
Okay, let's get into this though, because one thing is that if development is the key, then the young guys should be getting a lot of minutes. But it's a yes and no, and how much does the trade deadline play a factor into this? It's coming up. We're 48 hours away from it.
Yeah, less than now.
From the trade deadline, how much is that playing a role in what we're seeing from DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, the likes of those guys that have been rumored to be available and movable assets. First is Big Will Betts with the Sports Center update. Go get him, Tiger.
It's a Super Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, your Portland Trail Blazers, they're looking to stay red hot. They're going for their 5th win in a row tonight. They're taking on the Pacers in the Moda Center in their second of a back-to-back. Right now, the Pacers are favored by 5.5. The total for that game is set at 231.5. Tip-off is at 7. Your Oregon Ducks basketball team fell out of the AP Top 25 rankings. They lost both their games over the last week. Their next game won't be any easier as they travel to Michigan to take on the 24th ranked Wolverines. That game will be played on Wednesday, and it will be here on 1080 The Fan. You can hear the pregame show starting at 3. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp has posted on social media that he was told by the organization that they will try to trade him over the offseason. Kupp has been with the Rams since they drafted him all the way back in 2017. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or turn your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our next.
TheFan.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
Portland Trailblazers have won 8 of their last 9 games. You have seen inspired performances by DeAndre Ayton. Denny Avdia has been playing lights-out basketball for the Blazers.
I think you can basically just say everyone.
Yeah.
It's as crazy as that
Scoot
sounds.
Henderson.
Like, legitimately, everybody's played well during the stretch.
Yeah, and even like Ant last night wasn't spectacular from a scoring output.
No.
Did everything that you need though to facilitate
One of his better floor games.
hot hands
Yeah.
though. And they're playing good basketball. And the question has got to be, in a year that development was key, right? And that was long discussed. You look at who played last night, and I think last night's a good indicator. Tight game throughout the entirety of it. Okay, it goes into overtime. It's nip and tuck. What did that rotation look like? Only 8 guys played last night.
Yeah, the rotation has definitely been shortened down over the last 2 weeks. There's no doubt about that.
And coming off the bench, you had Donovan Clingan with 10 minutes, Shaden Sharp with 19, and Scoot Henderson with 22. Everybody else, the starting 5, they played over 40 minutes last night.
Mhm.
And it should be noted, overtime game, that's a 53-minute game. Okay?
Yeah. So you get an additional 5 minutes. I know where you're going to go with this as far as like Shaden and Scoot, but Shaden didn't play long because he wasn't good last night. Like
No.
that's the whole thing. That's the thing that they're trying to instill. And Scoot didn't play because they went with Ant down the stretch to open the floor for Denny and 2. Like that and NDA. That's the way Phoenix and Bud decided to cover the Trailblazers last night was to double and trap and force Anthony Simons to get off the ball at 40 feet, which puts them in rotation early, which allows DA to roll and have some space. It allows Denny to get downhill. It allows 2 to be the guy on the backside corner to knock down threes. And by God, did he last night? 5 of 6 from 3, 4 of 5 in the second half. But look at the I don't think you can look at each game and go, but they didn't do this here. They didn't do that here. Look at where they have been over the last 9 games. These are your minutes. Toumani Camara, 36. DeAndre Ayton, 36. Anthony Simons, 34. Denny Avdia, 34. Jeremy Grant, 32. Scoot Henderson, 27. Shaden Sharp, 27. They're playing 27 minutes a night.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Absolutely, entirely fine. The additional 3 minutes does not matter.
Yeah.
Does not matter. You are not getting any more good, any more bad, anything out of that. As long as they are being given the opportunity to play every single night. Think about that. If Shaden Sharp played 19 minutes last night and his minute average is still at 27, that means he's been above that because you're talking about a less than 10 game sample.
What do we think about though? Again, Donovan Clingan playing 20 plus minutes is not feasible. 10 seems low. 10 seemed very low.
Well, the problem was when they tried to go with him out there, he just was having a ton of trouble. He's still not comfortable leaving the paint. And you saw him get stuck on Beal. You saw him get stuck on Booker out on the perimeter. And it's deer in headlights type stuff. And everybody's like, well, he needs to learn. No, he needs to watch a lot of tape and needs to work on his footwork. He needs to work on his conditioning before he can get out there so he doesn't have bad minutes. That's where he needs to be. Like, if you get him out there against the team.
I think what you're saying right now, though, development does not mean minutes.
No, and it does not translate to on court. More often than not, development happens behind the scenes, and you don't see it for a very long time.
And that's where I go back to this team is not operating as a team that is tanking. Because teams that are tanking, development does mean just minutes, throw it out, roll the ball out, we'll see where we are.
And this is not me just gassing at the Blazers. This is what I said coming into the season. The way they're playing right now, not necessarily the wins. But coming into the season, what did I say? You want Anthony Simons out there so you have room for Denny Avdia, for Toumani Camara, for DeAndre Ayton. Like, those are the opportunities that you have alongside that. And when Scoot Henderson's out there, you want Jeremy Grant on the floor working on the backside so that there is space for Scoot Henderson to drive the lane and find DeAndre Ayton on lobs. Like, it's doing the things that you wanted to see. It's just that it's also translating into wins because their defense has been one of the best defenses in the league for the past 2 weeks.
Okay, and now why is it, and that's the reason why this is turning into wins instead of, because look, we came into this year saying defensively they were bad.
Yeah.
And they did not have 3-point shooting. Like those were the two, those were the two
100%.
big, massive red flags that were, this is why they won't win games. Well, that's kind of changing.
I 100% agree.
And even though they're not shooting lights out from 3 in every single game, it's the defensive end is really picking up the slack on that.
The defense has been phenomenal. And actually, I'm just sorted. So from January 1st on, let's see, where did they go? I lost them.
But in the grand scheme of things, the trade deadline, how much is playing into the trade deadline as we look at this to guys like, that idea that fans have, which I don't think is, I do not believe that this is a truth across the board that the Blazers franchise and the players themselves are showcasing themselves for the trade deadline.
I've never believed that stuff.
But if you want to hear DeAndre Ayton, I thought that this really rang true in the post game when he was talking with Brooke Olzendam. Listen to what he said, and you tell me, is this a guy trying to showcase himself for a trade?
That's what we do. I mean, I can't even say it enough. The fans really gave us the energy tonight and just got us amped up. We even came out a little slow, but the fans made sure we stayed on our A game, and I just love it. My teammates had my back, talking to me all night. I keep telling you, Brooke, I love it here.
I keep telling you, Brooke, I love it here. Like, when he said that, I was like, okay, this is everybody, and this is everybody from a fan standpoint, is you need to trade any combination of DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, Anthony Simons. And they look at this stretch right now and say, oh, this is a showcase for the trade deadline. It doesn't feel like it.
I don't think that's ever the case.
When you hear Chauncey speak, when you hear the players speak after games, that's not what they're signaling.
No. I don't ever believe that, like the showcase for trade. Everybody's like, Rob's sitting down, he's getting traded. Rob's playing, he's not getting traded. It's like, no, not every single thing that is out there is indicative of trade deadline stuff. And the only time someone gets sat for a trade is if they're about to be traded right then, or there is a deal currently in the framework that is being done, i.e. Josh Hart, who gets traded before tip-off.
Well, in that's like, everybody said this. Jeremy Grant comes back from the face, whatever it was, facial bruise, whatever.
Contusion.
Sure. And then he goes out with a rolled ankle, and everybody's like, bah! There it is.
He's getting traded. It's like, no, it's not.
He actually did roll his ankle. Yeah. He sat out one game, and he's been back in play.
Yeah, he tried to continue playing. I mean, we all saw the guy fall on his leg.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys.
Don't worry about that.
Be a little bit more media literate with this stuff. As it pertains to trade stuff in general, I have no reason to believe that the Blazers are either shopping DeAndre Ayton or have they received calls on him. Like I have said, if anything is going to be visited about that, I don't think that happens until this summer.
But doesn't this organizationally put you in a really tough position? Because right now, everything is working. Chauncey Billups is coaching his ass off, and the guys are responding and continue to respond. This puts you in limbo. This puts you in the spot where you're not good enough to be in that top 5.
No.
And the more that they win, the odds go further and further away from you. And you've said this, like, hey, getting into the top 3 isn't going to happen. No. Well, now we're like, top 5 ain't going to happen. And that is the slippery slope, because your odds exponentially go down to jump everybody else in the draft lottery. And you've said, I'll start getting concerned at 22 wins.
Yep.
They're at 21 and 29 right now.
No, like I said, 100%.
I mean, and that is a spot where, look, how do you get that star to get over the hump? Because you're not going to, this team as it is, it's fun to watch them play really well right now.
You can see that they're missing something.
There is a massive ceiling, and it's a very low one that you're going to hit your head on very soon.
Yeah. And I think they do know that. But again, this is the whole, like, when you're on the ground level, when you're talking to people or on the organization, you're talking to players, you're talking to coaches, like, they all know the deal, but they're not going to go out there and lose.
No, players and coaches don't.
And even organizationally, if organizationally you're talking about, you want your guys to learn how to win and not be stuck in the muck and to show development, what do you do when they start showing that development? Shaedon Sharpe has contributed to a lot of wins recently. Scoot Henderson has contributed to a lot of wins recently. Toumani Camara, Danny Avdia. I mean, those two guys have contributed to a metric crap ton of wins going forward. Like, you're getting exactly what you want. Just because you as a fan want to see the minute log look different, like organizationally, they're accomplishing their goals of getting their guys to show real growth.
Yeah.
And to them, that's the thing. This, for better or worse, that is something they have always kind of preferred, the one in hand over two in the bush situation. Like, look at the transactions that they've made where they haven't prioritized picks, they've prioritized players. Now, would they like to have some more draft capital to get their war chest so that they can go trade for another Danny Avdia or another fringe, all-star type player?
Yeah.
Shakes free and they can go get that guy. Like those, like, sure, I think they would like those things.
But that doesn't get you to a competitive
Trust me, I get
level.
it.
I mean,
I think that they should, after the All-Star break, should be steering into the skid and sitting all the vets.
Yeah.
Unequivocally.
Do we think that'll happen?
I'm pretty certain that they will.
Yeah. And that's
But
the hard part.
But I didn't expect them to win 8 of 9.
Right. And that's the part that is hard to navigate through, right? This is supposed to be they've gotten to a point where they've made enough savvy moves to get you to a point where it's not just competent basketball. They can play really good basketball in stretches.
And that's the thing. Is like,
how long does this hold for?
Think about this. They've won 8 of 9 and they're 21 and 29.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, you can zoom back out and also go, yeah, that's, the likelihood of this being sustainable and this being like the best version of them being like, if this is the actual best version, like, they're just good.
And
they're plucky, but they're not.
There's no pathway though to be great. And that was the whole point of trading Damian Lillard.
Hoping and praying.
Is getting to a point where, all right, how do we get to great? Because they went from very good with Dame.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get to great?
Yeah.
Which is getting over that hump. And you can't do it unless you have a superstar player. You can't get a superstar player unless you sign him in free agency. We know that's not happening in Portland. Or you draft them, or
you trade for them.
somehow you trade for them.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you look at this roster and you say, all right, you could trade all of your pieces and you could get a star back, but then everything around him is not going to be good enough to be a great team. And
which is why I think
that's why you have to go through the draft.
You've got reporting from Jovan Buha talking about how the Blazers are flagging that they want an unprotected first-round pick for Robert Williams III because they
Lakers writers?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
A Lakers writer is saying that.
Well, again, I've been trying to tell people they're not taking seconds for Robert Williams III.
No.
Ding, 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 ding. But the reason that they're saying this stuff is if they're going to trade a guy that they believe in, kind of going forward, they want a premium asset for it, and then they take that premium asset and they go flip it for something else.
And the slippery slope in that is that can turn very quickly into overvaluing your assets,
for sure,
like Neil Olshey did for several years. And that's what you hope does not.
The one pushback is I have yet to hear a deal that was offered where I was like, oh God, they should have taken that. Where under Neil Olshey, there were multiple deals that I had sourced from multiple people that he absolutely passed up on deals that he should have taken.
And I feel like I need to have the disclaimer of the separation between the person of Neil Olshey and the way he operated business.
Yes.
Because Joe Cronin is not either of them now. But if you get into that operation mode of operating business and overvaluing your assets to a point where you get nothing out of them, then that's where it becomes an issue.
No, 100%. Look, the second I hear about, a deal that they passed up on that I think that they should have taken, I will 100%. You will hear from me in the exact same manner.
Hey, something you said yesterday, it came to light, and Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves damn near said it word for word what you were signaling after the Luka Doncic trade on Saturday. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
On 1080 The Fan.
Yesterday, we talked in great length about the Luka Doncic trade and the fear that it struck into the Trailblazers and Suns locker rooms on Saturday in the wake of it, as they found out in the waning moments of that game that, in fact, Luka Doncic was traded from the Mavs to the Lakers. Well, that wasn't just a in Portland situation.
No.
Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves had a really open and honest response when asked about the Luka trade yesterday following their game.
They say that nobody knew about the trade. Yeah, so that's crazy. At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded. Because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man, because I saw some on YouTube that say he just bought a crib and everything in Dallas. So that sucks, man. That sucks.
Does it inform, like,
everybody?
You at 23.
Everybody get informed, yeah.
I was going to say, like,
I'm scared.
How you see the league.
Yeah, I'm scared. Tim, hey, if you're going to trade me, let me know, dog. When Luka got traded, anybody is able to get traded at that point.
The signal was shot up by the Dallas Mavericks to the rest of the NBA.
Look, it was a shot across the bow, and it reverberated around the league. Every single player I talked to said some version of the same thing. Like, Luka can get got. I can get got. I can get got. And it was like, it's hard out here.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of that. It was like, look, the money's good, but like after that, everybody is on notice.
And Luka had his introductory press conference today with the Lakers, and he said all the right things, but you could tell that dude is going through it.
I mean, it was very much why he don't want me no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
what did I do? Well,
you can say he's like, oh, he's in LA and he's got everything going for him, but like, he just bought a $50 million house. He's got a family. He's like, despite how onerous and ornery and ridiculous and stuff was behind the scenes, when all of a sudden the reality sets in that all the stuff that you did piss them off to an extent that they said that they're done with you at 25, you're going to feel a certain kind of way.
I fear Nico Harrison just unlocked the best version of Luka Doncic, and he's going to be playing for the Lakers doing it.
Yeah. Your kid Luka fan yet?
No.
Does he know?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay.
He was sad about Anthony Davis leaving. I was like, why? Even though Anthony Davis has been catching a lot of ricochet shots in this because of the player that he was traded for. Anthony Davis, really damn good player. And we talked about this yesterday. Like, they gave up a superstar in his own right in Anthony Davis.
Sure, on the tail end of his career and injury riddled and 6 years older, but
isn't Luka kind of the same though?
I mean, 6 years.
6 years.
That's
6 years is a lot. But as Nico Harrison said yesterday, 3 to 4 years they'll probably be dead.
Speaking of Nico
which
Harrison,
is a weird thing to say.
This came out from Mike Paolucci, who writes for D Magazine. It's the big Dallas magazine, city paper kind of deal. There's been belief, which multiple team and league sources expressed to me over the past months, long before this trade, that Harrison does not have a long-term desire to remain in his current role as a general manager. Seems like a pertinent thing for an owner to know. And the tinfoil is tightening about Nico Harrison being a sleeper agent. It is so funny. I hope it happens. I hope
Russian mole.
Hold on.
I hope it's actually the thing that happened, because then it's devious and insane, but it makes more sense than just trading Luka Doncic.
Okay. Explain what the hell that even means. What would he be a sleeper agent for?
Nike and the Lakers.
So you're saying that Nike helped get their guy and the Lakers into the Dallas Mavericks organization once they realized Luka was as good as he was, because they knew that the Lakers were going to be basically without a superstar or with only a very old, injury-riddled superstar. So they put Nico Harris into this position as the GM to one day make a horrific trade that essentially sells their soul to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers then have this great player
Yeah, you're
for
tracking.
the entirety of his prime.
Yeah,
You
you're
think that
tracking
that is possible?
Yeah.
Is there a
It's
grassy knoll involved?
it's less crazy than trading for Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis in a first round pick.
Whoa.
If the guy's ego is hurt, not necessarily.
And Max Christie. Don't do this.
He-
And Max Christie.
Maxi Kleba was traded for Max Christie.
Dang.
Max for Max. But like, no, I don't actually believe this, but it's
It's a max deal.
Well,
I mean, it's not the most insane thing
look,
I've ever heard.
It didn't help that Dwayne Wade yesterday was out there spouting off about Luka Doncic went from, number 6 in jersey sales. He'll be number 1 in LA, like
Look,
that
it is
help,
the
but-
premier market in the NBA.
Yeah.
Then it's not close. Everybody you talk about the Knicks all you want.
No.
No, it's the Lakers, and it's not even the Celtics. It is the Lakers. They are the premier brand. You
No.
put this guy in Los Angeles. I mean, there's already talk about LeBron James saying like this is Luka Doncic's team. Like it's like
if this
he's-
is ever found to be true, it's did I just become an Adidas guy? I don't know.
But I mean, like
I'll give you a reason why not to be an Adidas
Portland.
guy in the break.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Adidas slander.
Look into their history.
Oh,
As I
yeah.
wear
Well,
my
I don't think
Adidas
that needs,
pants.
I don't think that needs to be during a break. Yeah, we
no,
all know.
Yeah, no.
I was just making sure.
Just keep your right arm down.
Yeah,
Just
I don't.
Mr. Adidas.
No Elon Musk here. We're good.
I don't. I think I own a pair of Adidas, and they were the Dame 1 All Stars.
I have the Dame 2 Rose Cities, which are the limited edition ones. Those were.
Yeah,
But
that's it though.
But
I'm
I
wearing
played
Adidas right
basketball.
now.
I played basketball in the D Roses for 3 or 4 years. Those are some of the best basketball shoes I've ever worn.
Mm.
I think the only other pair of Adidas basketball shoes I ever had was the Kobe Crazy 8s.
So bad.
I like those back in the day. You're not
So
not
bad.
not the one that looks like a spaceship. The big chunky ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, no.
Yeah.
I
so
don't believe this sleeper agent. Not one bit. I'm not going to do it. Nope.
I'll find a way.
Not going to do it. Look, my tinfoil hat can be tightened up.
Mm.
This ain't going to be the one that does it for
Okay.
me. You know?
I'll tighten you up.
They got Nico Harrison to be the GM for the Dallas Mavericks with Mark Cuban as the owner when he took over as the GM. And then he laid low in the weeds until it was time to
strike.
fleece.
Yeah. The other part of this is there's a bunch of
Okay.
people in the NBA who think Jason Kidd had a larger hand in forcing Luka out than is currently being discussed.
I think that has far more legs. If I'm going to power rank, I'm going to say that is number one. I think number two is
He's just that stupid.
no. I will go down the road of the Adelson family wanting to have their casino resort in Dallas Fort Worth
And
with
they
an
wanna-
arena
and
attached
they
to it.
want to devalue the team until then.
Well, no, and they weren't getting their way. So they're like, you know what we'll do? Fine, we're going to sell this thing off and take it down to the bones, you dorks. Even though I think their roster is in a better spot right now than.
They literally this morning traded away their other guy who could dribble, pass, and shoot.
But
And now they have one.
Yeah, they have a guy, but that guy they have is pretty good.
He's also very injury prone and crazy.
Absolutely. But at least they got bigs, and
Hiding-
the Lakers have
Yeah.
none.
No, you're not wrong. They're collecting bigs like Infinity Stones.
And
over there.
they have one pick that they can dangle to try to get that because Nico Harrison didn't demand that extra pick for Luka Doncic. It's infuriating. Hey, the NBA isn't the only one with wild trade season. I don't think I've seen the NFL go quite headline grabby as what we've seen over the last 2 days in the trade
Look at us!
market.
Look at us! Look at us!
Mm-hmm. Danny Dusty on the fan.
Galaxy Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, we got a couple of games going on in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks, they're traveling to Philly. They're taking on the 76ers tonight. We're not going to get our first look of the Mavs with Anthony Davis. He's out with a foot injury. No Kyrie Irving either. On the other side, no Joel Embiid. He's out with a knee injury, still fighting through that one. Philly favored by 3.5, tip-off at 4. At 7 o'clock, you got your Portland Trailblazers. They're taking on the Pacers tonight in the Moda Center. Blazers going for their 5th win in a row. Pacers are favored in that one by 5.5. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp has posted on social media that he was told by the organization that they will try and trade him over the offseason. Kupp has been with the Rams since they drafted him out of Eastern Washington in 2017. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One number does it all. The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours, whether it's on 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080am The Fan, or youtube.tv or youtube.com/1080am The Fan. Party on Party People on the YouTube stream. We got a lot that we need to get to, including what to make of the most recent report of where Ohio State may be looking to fill their offensive coordinator role. Yeah. Super Bowl Licks is happening on Sunday.
What is it?
Super Bowl Licks.
Licks?
Yeah.
What's that?
59. LIX.
Oh, Licks.
Yeah, Super Bowl Licks.
Okay, I thought you were talking
Just
about like some
rolling
kind of after party.
No. But
Only for the winners.
only for the winners.
Sprinkles,
the losers.
Sprinkles and licks get for winners.
Losers can lick their wounds.
Ooh.
So maybe you get that going for you. I'm excited for this. As we're getting closer, I think it's gonna be a good game. I can't wait to start actually breaking this game down. But I was reminded today. I was watching, what's that show called? Good Morning Football. You ever watch that? NFL Network?
I do.
I watched a little bit of because it turned on the TV because I was watching the opening night last night. We'll have audio from that too. Fun with audio. Opening night of Super Bowl Licks. But they were saying we've had so many good Super Bowls over the last handful of years. Do you remember we used to have clunkers?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I remember Patriots Packers was.
Yep, that one got out of hand.
That one got out of hand real quick.
That one got out of hand. Well, like if you want to look, I mean, we had 55-10. The Niners beat the Broncos in 1990.
Yeah.
Right. You had 52-17. The Cowboys over the Bills. 49-26. The 49ers over the Chargers. We've had some stinkers. Ravens beat the Giants 34-7. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was just absolute turd fest. The Buccaneers beating the Raiders 48-21 because they knew all of their plays offensively.
I prefer to ignore that one.
Yeah, but we've had some good ones. 25-22 overtime, 38-35 before that. Well, the last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, 23-20. The Buccaneers beating the brakes off of
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. The Chiefs beating the Niners. That one got away late. 13-3 was a close game, but
God, it was
watching
awful.
paint dry with the Patriots beating the Rams. I mean, we've had some good games, dramatic games even.
I mean, Patriots Falcons 28-3.
Yeah, dude. In that first overtime game.
Whoa.
Think about that. That game was Super Bowl 51, and there was 50 prior Super Bowls in no overtime games. That was the first one. We are in Super Bowl 58 last year, and we've now had 2 overtime games. These
kinda
games
crazy.
are really good.
Yeah.
Lately, I think this is going to be another great one.
I do too. I don't. What's the over on this? Was it 48?
I thought it was 47.5 was the
47.5?
last I
Okay.
checked. Yeah, I can hop in. I'll hop in DraftKings right now for you. I'll find that right now.
I feel like it's gonna be the under.
Do you think I could see that?
I think if you're giving me 47.5, I'm thinking I'm going to take the under.
Mm.
I don't
48.5 now.
48.5. Yeah, people are probably betting the. I think it opened
Points,
at like
points,
46.5.
Points.
I think it's been bet up quite a bit just because
Yeah.
I think people are taking the under because you do have a very, very, very good defense in the Eagles and a team that runs the living bejesus out of the ball.
See, I think that we also get caught up, and a lot of people are looking at the last time these two teams played, which is just a couple of years ago, but that was a 38-35 game, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you
The
had
two totally different teams.
73 points, but 2 wildly different teams in the way that they're constructed. And you also look at the fact that, let's see here, back when that game happened, the scoring defense heading into that game in the 2022 Super Bowl, Philly was the 10th best defense. Kansas City was the 21st best defense in the NFL.
They were not. They were two teams that were built heavily on the offensive side of the ball.
This year, they are 2nd and 13th. In 2022, it was the number 1 offense versus the number 3 offense.
Mhm.
It is now number 8 versus number 10. So, I mean, the defenses have both gotten better.
Way better.
And the offenses are still really damn
Mhm.
good, but they've taken a step back. And, oh, by the way, the Eagles run the damn ball.
Yeah, and I think it's a major difference in the past that, if you were able to get them out of what they wanted to do, they could run the ball okay,
Yep.
but it wasn't Gainwell, it's Saquon Barkley. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a significant difference
Yeah.
of trying to contain one guy over the other.
Yeah. All right.
You
Well,
know.
we're already talking this game, and I like that.
All right.
Cooper Kupp yesterday signaled he's going to be traded.
Yeah, and he ain't happy about it.
No, and I don't blame him because they got the new hot sexy. They're like, hey, we hit that little bit of an upgrade button where he's a little bit stronger, a little
Upgrade.
bit bigger, a little bit faster in Puka Nakua,
And not as injury prone.
and not as expensive right now.
Yeah.
But what Cooper Kupp tweeted out yesterday is that the Rams are going to deal him off, and he is available on the trade market, and they've let him know they're going to shop him. That is something that you don't see very often. And right now, especially the timing of it, we had Myles Garrett say he demanded a trade from the Cleveland Browns yesterday. And then on the same day, you have Cooper Kupp saying, I was informed that the team will be seeking a trade immediately and will be working with me and my family to find the right place to continue competing for championships. I don't agree with the decision and always believed it was going to begin and end in LA. Still, if there's one thing that I've learned over the years, there are so many things that are out of your control, but it's how you respond to these things that you can look back on and remember. I've taken much pride in playing alongside my teammates in LA and in the community, so thank you for embracing my family and making this such a special place. 2024 began with the best training camp of my career. Preparations now start for 2025. Highly motivated, as healthy as ever, and looking forward to playing elite football for years to come. Love you guys.
Shout out my man working on his routes in his backyard in Wilsonville.
He sold that house, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think he lives here anymore.
that's a bummer.
Is he back in Yakima?
I don't know. Maybe he should move back to Wilsonville. The things were going great
Yeah,
for him when he was
see?
here.
Ni-
You
ni-
know?
ni- nice little spot on the river.
Hells yeah.
He's a nice guy.
But that is a big name that's on the market.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't come with a sweetheart of a deal by
it's
any stretch of the
20 million.
imagination.
It's 40 total.
And look, you're gonna be paying freight to get him.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be paying that salary.
Does this mean though that the Rams are out of F them picks and they're now we want them effing picks?
I
Because
think-
they've been doing really good drafting, guys.
Yeah, I think that this is can we get a second or third round pick for Cooper Kupp? I think that's 100% what they're trying to do is that Matthew Stafford is going to come back. And you saw when they had some semblance of a team, they could give everyone fits.
No doubt
Like,
about it.
Are they a Super Bowl contender? No, but can you continue to build that defense is getting nastier and nastier every year, and they may be shifting into a team that's more defensive oriented as Stafford ages out, and then they start recycling those picks back over to the offensive side of the ball, and that's what just kind of keeps this cycle going.
Well, and look, make no mistake about it, Matthew Stafford saying he's going to run it back, that has big implications on their ability to keep Cooper Kupp. and somebody's going to get a really damn good one. And he would, again, we mentioned this with Myles Garrett, and this is when you have a good young quarterback. Yeah, this is where you want to make this move, right?
Mhm.
Is you have a good young quarterback who needs a receiver, needs a target.
Hey, Patriots could go grab Cooper Kupp and help Drake May and keep him upright.
Look, if you're talking about systems that he would thrive in,
Mhm.
Cliff Kingsbury's in Washington,
Mhm.
Sean Payton's in
Denver.
Denver, where you give Bo Nix a legitimate, bona fide
Possession
slot
guy.
receiver, where everything is short to deep. You have a guy who you want to call him a check down quarterback in Bo Nix. Yeah, I give him a great check down
Yeah.
target. All right, you could take that. New England,
Do
I
the,
guess.
the
yeah.
Patriots don't have a token white right now, do they?
No,
See, that's what you're missing.
no.
It would reunite him with Kendrick Bourne, his old running mate at Eastern Washington.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right.
And that's actually see what's actually going on in New England is they don't have a white wide receiver.
I think they do.
Do they?
They have Hunter Henry. That's
He's-
close enough. I mean,
No,
he's a tight end.
They need that's by
No.
nature they have a big white tight end. That's just how that goes.
Yeah, I mean that's not unique.
That's normal.
We're talking the shifty possession receiver.
I'm just trying to give the exciting whites a leg up here.
Okay, okay, all right. And look, the Patriots are really high on Jalen Polk, the Washington wide receiver, is a rookie this past year. But they do need help. They need a lot of help for Drake May. I don't know if that's going to be the route that they go, but there's a lot of teams that you can say there will be suitors for Cooper Kupp because, look, he is dynamic as a route runner, and people don't want to say that about him because he is white, and that's just the truth of it. He is a really damn good route runner. He's got good burst. He can beat you vertically, and he is smart as all get out, man. That's the thing that make him and Puka Nacua so good, right? Is like, not only is Nacua a guy who's big and can block and mix it up,
He's a demon after the catch.
dude, those guys are so damn smart that finding soft spots. Like Travis Kelce's brilliant at this too. Then in part of the freelance that Mahomes and Kelce work with, it's when they're on the same page, but they're seeing the same damn thing because they're thinking the same way. And you have to have that football intelligence and identification of, all right, every defense, their drops are a little bit different, but finding those soft spots and those guys that always get open, that's film preparation and being able to, within a couple of steps, change your route and find a soft spot. Dude, you have to be wickedly smart to do that. And that was what was so special about Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. So it'll be interesting to see where Cooper Kupp goes. You know,
What is
hopefully
the best,
back to Wilson.
What is the best landing spot for him? Washington?
God, I think it's Denver.
Denver?
I think it's Denver.
I think it's a good fit.
I think going across the street in LA would be really damn good for him too, and going and playing for the Chargers.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep your house.
the frustrating part for the Rams is, though, are you going to trade him within the NFC? And I don't think you're going to deal a guy as valuable as he is to any team in the NFC, unless they are a non-factor and a non-contender. But he said it in his release, you know, the Rams are working with him to find a landing spot where he could still continue to compete for championships. So if you want to say, all right, LA wants to maximize their ability to win a championship, don't send him within your own conference. So that would eliminate the Washington Commanders. So you start looking at AFC teams and you go, Denver's probably number one. Chargers are up there. I don't know necessarily if he works in Pittsburgh, but they need another receiver.
Still need a quarterback.
If T. Higgins leaves, I don't think they have the money in Cincinnati to do it. But that would be a great spot for him. You know how open he would get if Jamar Chase was playing alongside him?
Good Lord. Or how open Jamar Chase would get if people start worrying about him.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's going to be no shortage of places where you're like, yeah, that fits. He works there.
I mean, he's that good of a receiver where he fits anywhere.
And New England is in no way to win a championship anytime soon. And I think that's one of the drawbacks to like saying Denver is that I don't think Denver's all that close. They're closer than New England is, but they still have miles to go. So that's what makes this fascinating for Cooper Kupp and where he could end up. No longer a Los Angeles Ram. Damn. All right, 503-864-6326. That be the Vancouver Ford text line. Chip Kelly is now the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. His staff, he ended up going and swooping in and grabbing Chip Kelly from Ohio State.
Hey.
Oh.
Collecting former legendary Pac-12 coaches like Infinity Stones. Go Raiders.
Yeah.
What's Dennis Erickson doing these days?
Ooh, that'd be a great one to bring in. Yeah, I think him on the strip may be a little dicey, but it'd be fun.
Or exactly what they need.
Exactly what they need. Well, he could be, making sure like instead of bed check, it's the strip check, and Dennis Erickson is out there making sure nobody's no tomfooleries happen after hours. But Chip Kelly is the second coordinator to leave Ohio State. Jim Knowles bolted for Penn State, their defensive coordinator, and he got a big pay bump to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in all of college football. Now Chip Kelly goes to Vegas, and he's getting a bag to go be the Raiders offensive coordinator. And now Ryan Day has a national championship, but no coordinators.
No coordinators figured out with, but he did get the school back a little bit of money. Chip Kelly had a buyout that was actually going to be quite a bit bigger, but because he went to the NFL, he had to pay significantly less. So it was supposed to be $1.5 million. He's ended up having to pay $350,000.
Yeah, which is peanuts. The Raiders are going to pay that and gladly have their new offensive coordinator.
See you later, bye.
He's going to be one of the highest paid coordinators in the NFL as well. So
the Raiders have learned because this is how they lost Kingsbury.
Chip in the NFL is interesting because his offense schematically was never the issue in Philadelphia or San Francisco.
It's the speed and pace.
No, the players quit on him because he was an overbearing madman, checking their pee and their sleep patterns, like not allowing them to be adults. And guys are just like, no, we're out on this guy. And when you lose the NFL like that, it goes really quick. See Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Right. But schematically it worked. And you saw kind of the proliferation of the RPO really ramped up when Chip got there.
I mean, look at what the Chiefs' offense is predicated on.
It's that how the NFL operates now. And Chip his offense is not antiquated by any means. And the blur that he ran at Oregon, anybody that watched Ohio State saw that was not the same offense. There are characteristics of it, absolutely, but it has evolved, and every good play caller evolves over time. Like Andy Reid's offense has gone through like 8 different iterations since he was in Green Bay. Like that's what great play callers do, and Chip is no different. I think it's going to be wildly successful. And one thing that I love about Chip Kelly going to Vegas is Chip has always done it without the guy at quarterback. And
look
you ain't going to have the guy this year.
I mean, look at the guys he's had quarterbacks. Like the guys he made special at Oregon. You have Mariota, but you're looking at a guy
Darren Thomas.
Yeah, but Darren Thomas. Like that's just look, and Mariota was a 3-star guy. Like it wasn't like this, he finds the things that he can kind of draw out of guys. And look, Will Howard is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, but he finds a way to put guys. Having those wide receivers certainly is helpful. I would imagine Brock Bowers is about to be unleashed upon the world in a way that he's never been with the Raiders. But like, because that's the one thing I think you always have to kind of tip your cap to Chip on is that whatever tools he has, he maximizes them.
Yep.
And do you remember watching the Kelsey documentary? Jason Kelsey talked about like what he played at under Chip.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
He said he
seeing
played
that.
like 260, 270. He goes, I was super light. Like, I don't think that they're going to do anything like that
No, 'cause
anymore.
Pete Carroll runs the show. He runs the offense.
And not only that, Pete has always been a complimentary football guy. So they're not going to get down there and crank up the pace. They're going to play slow. They're going to be defensive oriented. But I think you're going to have a very creative offensive attack that takes advantages of what little weapons they do have.
Chip Kelly, when he was the head coach of the Eagles, their offense ranked 4th in points, 2nd in total offense, 3rd in points, 5th in total offense. Dude can still call plays, and that was with Nick Foles and Mark Sanchez as his quarterbacks.
Where are they at now?
Well, yeah, and Nick Foles, Super Bowl champion Nick Foles, that is Super Bowl champ. They were still able to move the football. It was everything else that was the disaster in Philadelphia. So I think it's a good hire by the Raiders. Now it is where do the Buckeyes go with now having to replace both of your coordinators after a national championship season. And there's already a report out there on 3. And a lot of these are like reports, okay? But on 3 is saying that there could be, if Ohio State's looking at guys, promoting from within, wide receivers coach Brian Hartline
Mhm.
as your offensive
Who's an
coordinator.
Ohio State lifer.
He's an Ohio State lifer, one of the best recruiters and developers at the wide receiver position of anybody. Just look
Look at
at
them.
what they have. Miami Hurricanes offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson and former Oregon offensive coordinator, now head coach at Akron, Joe Moorhead, but also Will Stein, Oregon's offensive coordinator.
Oh.
Um,
It's not like they haven't poached that backyard once before.
well, yeah, they got the running backs coach just a year ago from Oregon. They made him the highest paid running backs coach in college football, and they pushed on and said, "Yep, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring Coach Lachlan over." Well, I think Will Stein, the value of Will Stein at Oregon, this may be bump that pay up, make sure he gets a raise, or Will Stein. We know the nature of the beast and how it goes. I mean, if they back up the Brinks truck and make him the highest paid coordinator in college football, I'm not even close. He may be the Ohio State OC. We don't know at this point, but it is a name that's been floated out there, and there's no indication that Will Stein is planning on leaving Oregon.
But with the stuff you just don't know until you know.
And they call it reports, but this could just be somebody spitballing too, right?
Which is so often the case.
It really is often the case because you look at who are the best play callers in college football, and who
You
are
don't
the
need to
guys that
hire a
make
search
sense.
firm to do that.
No, you don't.
No,
you don't.
Now,
I'd love to be that search firm, though.
Oh no, it's great. Look, Bartu and those guys, they do great at this, but I think that those guys probably make their money not for the national champion. Like I think they have a general idea of
who the good guys are.
who they want. Now, if you're one of those up and coming teams, I bet you that's where you do your work. You go get that guy that's grinding somewhere.
Go get that grinder on
Get all the
tape.
tape, and then those guys end up going to bigger programs.
Find the Chip Kelly when he was at New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That's what you go and do is you try to find that
Exactly
guy
my
who's doing
point.
something a little bit different than everybody else
When you were Oregon and you were ascending, that's what you did. Like you go outside the box and you find the guy.
Ohio State should really dip into Army or Navy, something triple option.
Ooh. Can you imagine if they did that with those athletes, though?
Jeremiah Smith's like, come on, are you guys serious right now?
Hey, it worked for Calvin Johnson.
No. No, it did not.
It did.
No,
it
did
did
not.
work for him. He was a
No,
number
it
3
did
overall
not.
pick.
I don't think they ran that triple option until his last year there. Is that correct? Paul Johnson?
I could have swore he had 2 years.
Well, then it worked for Demarius Thomas.
Demarius
Yeah,
Thomas.
there you go.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I could have swore that Calvin had 2 years of it.
I don't know. I can't remember that. But let's see here.
I think they
When
should
was
go
Paul
to wing
Johnson there?
T. It works so well at the high school level. Why
See?
wouldn't it work at Ohio
And
State?
now they say you run the wing T because you don't have the athletes. What if you did it with all the
with
athletes?
the athletes.
Well, Bellevue showed you it worked for them. Why wouldn't it work at the college football
That's what
level?
Helix High School did in San Diego with Alex Smith as their quarterback and Reggie Bush as their running back.
You imagine?
Seems like a mismatch.
You imagine dealing with that in high school?
No.
That's disgusting.
No, I couldn't.
That's horrid stuff.
Yeah, wait a minute here. Paul Johnson was at Georgia Tech from 2008 through 2010. So I don't know. When was Calvin Johnson there?
2006.
Calvin Johnson. Let's see here. Dude, Megatron, what a great name. He was drafted in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're thinking of Demarius Thomas.
Okay. I just remember them having a very good wide receiver and them running that.
Yeah. Let's see. Because I feel like Calvin Johnson would be like, y'all can go to hell. I am not running
it's
this.
just a lot more fun.
Yeah. And Demarius Thomas was
Demarius?
drafted in
Okay.
2010.
Okay, there you go.
So he played 2 years for Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech.
running that option.
Dude, it's so boring if you're a receiver. Like, how you just look out there and they're just standing there like, you don't even need to be out here, man. You don't need to guard me.
You want to just have
go.
call it quits? I'll tell you when I'm running a route.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you a thumbs up. It's go time.
That way you and me can go at each other.
Yeah.
It's fun. All right, coming up next, have you ever heard of butter hands?
Fingers.
Oh, how about whole hands? We'll get to that and more here, coming up here on the Worst on the Web. First is Big Well Bets and the Sports Center Update.
It's a Super Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, The Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, your Oregon Ducks basketball team fell out of the AP Top 25 rankings. They lost both their games over the last week. Right now, their next game is not going to get any easier. They're traveling to Michigan to take on the 24th ranked Wolverines. That game will be played on Wednesday here on 1080 The Fan. You can tune into the pregame show starting at 3. In Miami, despite asking for a trade from the organization, Heat star Jimmy Butler has made it clear to the Golden State Warriors that he does not plan on signing a contract extension with the team if they trade for him. This essentially stops any trade talks of Butler to the Warriors. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp has posted on social media that he was told by the organization they will try and trade him over the offseason. This will be Kupp's second team. He's been with the Rams since they drafted him in 2017. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of with Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
This is a hell of a headline. Man eating 6 to 9 pounds of butter and cheese a day develops cholesterol hands while on carnivore diet.
Oh, good golly, Miss Molly.
Brother, this is something I've never even heard of, but it's an actual thing that can happen. So this is the backstory. A man who's only being identified as being in his 40s told doctors that he got diet advice from the internet, which, there you go, and began following an extreme carnivore diet for 8 months.
I saw this on TikTok, bro.
Yeah, good God.
Where's this man from?
It does not identify. Just says he's in his 40s.
I see it here.
Do you have it in yours? Where's he from?
We all know the answer.
Florida?
To this. Yeah.
Okay.
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, there you go. But for 8 months, he ate 6 to 9 pounds of butter, cheese, and hamburgers a day. He stopped eating all carbs, such as bread and sugar. Said he first felt great, lost weight, became more energetic, and had more mental clarity. But he started developing yellow lesions on his eyelids. Over the next month, they appeared on the palms of his hands, the soles of his feet, and his elbows. He looks like a butter sculpture.
That it looks like his hands. Imagine like where the palm reader goes to read your palm.
It's
and
filled in
then
with fat.
Every single one of like the creases of your fingers. It looks like they wedged like Cheeto
Butter.
cheese underneath his skin, and it's just like that orange is just the hue is poking out in all of those little creases of your hand. It is the grossest thing.
Yeah. And it looks like he's made of butter or
Yeah.
cheese or like what's that quick cheese in the can?
Cheese Whiz?
Cheese Whiz, yeah.
dude.
Doctors diagnose him with xanthelasma. It's a rare condition that impacts about 1% of patients with high cholesterol. It's yellow raised deposits of cholesterol that appear in the skin because the body cannot process it.
So now I've heard of the carnivore diet,
Yeah. Hell, I've done it,
but
but I never had anything. Like I never had any side effects.
well, he's saying 6 to 9 pounds of butter.
Yeah, that's
a day?
not the carnivore
cheese
diet.
or butter.
That's insane. Like,
Now, what the carnivore diet is you eat meat, so beef, chicken, pork,
Mhm.
eggs, seafood,
vegetables, but you don't
well,
don't eat carbs.
dairy products, and water.
Mhm.
Right?
I was told no vegetables.
I was told no vegetables
See,
too.
I did the one where you do have some minor roughage because of.
Well, and
Is that
because
not
of
keto then?
but I think what this guy did,
Mhm.
I believe you're right. That is keto.
Well, the carnivore diet gets you into ketosis, which gets you ketones, which is what allows you to process. It's two different things.
Well,
It's
homeboy
insane.
here is just like he read, oh, dairy products, dude, and he leaned into butter and cheese. The amount that you would have to eat in order for this to happen to your body is absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, I can't imagine eating like number one that total amount of food.
Yeah.
6 to 9 pounds of cheese, butter, meat a day. Like, brother, like,
Now-
even at my peak
Mhm.
of just like, again, when in my early 20s, overseas, like working out multiple hours a day,
Mhm.
16, 18 hours, like the stuff you can't push your body to. I was 240 pounds and I was eating anywhere around 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day and losing weight because of like, even then, that's not 6 to 9 pounds of anything. Like, that's such an obscene amount of food.
Yeah. It's not healthy.
Good God.
Don't do it.
You can't eat 6 to 9 pounds of anything and have it be good for you.
I've also heard that the carnivore diet has largely been debunked by science because the whole idea behind it is that, our ancestors, all they ate was meat and they were healthy in that regard.
Which isn't true.
No,
There's a reason why it's hunter-gatherer.
very rarely did they actually eat meat. They actually ate vegetables.
It's a lot of fruit and vegetables.
They ate leaves.
Yeah.
They ate fruits that were around. That was basically what they ate.
Get primal, bro.
But I mean,
So-
like,
Sup, bruh? I learned that because my wife is now a vegan because we watched a documentary.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, you watched Game Changers.
Which is not off the internet.
No, Blue Zones.
But, yeah.
Oh.
It's not off the internet, but it's internet adjacent.
Oh gosh. I
now-
support her in her journey. I don't participate.
No, totally fair.
Yeah.
The science behind the ketosis thing is real.
Yeah.
Like that stuff all makes sense, and you actually it is one of the best ways to lose weight quickly.
Yeah.
Is to go very low carb. The biggest thing that everybody screws up is they don't drink enough water and they feel like crap. And they're like, oh, I can't do this because I feel like
Again.
crap. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're dehydrated, brother.
Back to, I don't remember drinking water as a kid.
Yeah.
Like we do it now.
Well, I'm trying to think of what were the fad diets when we were young.
Jenny Craig. Jenny Craig, man.
Atkins?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, it was
Atkins.
like at
Atkins was the
tail end,
first, yeah.
I mean, it was just not eating. There was like a sugar water diet.
Oh God, there
Yeah.
you go.
Those stupid juice cleanses.
Dude, I've done one of those.
I remember you doing it last year.
You did it here, and you were not doing well.
No, it was 2 years. I think it was
2
2
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, yeah.
It was
I
around,
needed
yeah.
that cleanse,
Yeah,
and
you-
I was not.
No, and you gave me the heads up of you were doing it.
I jumped into a 5-dayer.
Yeah.
A
And-
5. Don't do that.
Yeah,
You
you were.
start small, build your way up.
You were. Well, you also said you needed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had gone through quite a bit. I had
Did
gone
it
through
help
quite a
you
bit.
at all? Did you feel better?
Yeah, I lost like 13 pounds in 5 days.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's necessarily good for you, though.
Well, when you saw my bloated face after like 2 weeks of trips and on a bender, yeah, I needed it. Believe me, everything I was doing prior to that was the unhealthy part.
Well, like I'm pretty much carnivore now. I don't know how the Greek yogurt or like cottage cheese kind of fixes into that, but like that's pretty much all I'm eating. It's Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a lot of chicken, a lot of turkey.
Cottage
and
cheese literally makes me want to puke.
We used to do cottage cheese and like
It's good,
cheap
dude.
steak, like
Yeah.
because it was
Calories and protein.
calories. It was good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
High in
When you're on a
protein.
budget, you go down on like Meat Tuesday at the old Albertsons, and you would do like they.
Can I tell you that something that I'm
What's
not
that?
above doing?
What?
We have a local grocery store in Newburgh,
You gonna Dollar Tree steak?
not Dollar Tree.
Don't knock it till you
Which
try it.
no, there's no amount of baking soda that can save a steak that's that bad. But
Put bacon
if I'm
sauce.
cooking just for myself and I know I'm cooking that night, I will go over into the about to expire,
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you will get like a singular
Yeah.
filet mignon or nice New York for half the price.
Oh,
So not quite Dollar Tree, but
all right. Hey, do you want to know some ridiculous fad diets through history?
there you go. Hit me with them.
175 BC, the cabbage and urine diet.
Is that where you drink your own urine?
Yep, it was pretty self-explanatory there as I read through it. Cato the Elder was a Roman statesman, writer, and public speaker who was a massive fan of cabbage. He not only promoted eating plenty of cabbage, but also drinking urine of people who had a high diet of cabbage, so not even your own. He believed that cabbage could cure ulcers, dysentery, warts, indigestion, and even drunkenness.
God, if you had to live during an era of kook diets, I would have much rather been in the cocaine diet than the urine diet.
Well, how about the late 1800s, the arsenic diet pills?
I'm sorry, what?
Yep.
Is the idea here that death will make you lighter?
Yeah, maybe. Miracle cures which could speed up the metabolism. Although the amount of arsenic within the pills was very small, they were still very dangerous.
Yeah, it's arsenic.
I would say so. Yep. The tapeworm diet of the early 1900s,
Well,
where
we
you were
like,
given a tapeworm. Yeah. That was.
how did they get it out back then?
Yeah, don't worry about that. It was. Don't worry about that. It was supposed to cure organ swelling, anaphylaxis, infections of the digestive system, appendicitis,
You know what?
damaged vision, meningitis, epilepsy, dementia, or even death in severe cases would happen.
Cure. Oh, I thought you were saying it was curing those things.
God.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
they did take a spin. All right. The Reach for a Lucky diet of 1929.
Lucky Strikes.
Yep, that
Fun,
would be
babe.
Lucky Strike cigarettes because nicotine suppresses your appetite.
It does.
That's
And-
why I'm so hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how about the Sleeping Beauty diet of 1976 where people were voluntarily sedated for several days?
I mean, that sounds like fun.
Can't eat when you're sleeping.
Not
You
against
got me there, dude.
I will tell you though, I put on like 40 pounds through each hip surgery because I was very sedated and not moving and in my bed.
Well, yeah, but you were still eating. You weren't even awake. They were just like, yeah, night, night. See you in a while.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know?
Maybe
Just giving you enough to survive.
It'd be a lot cooler if we could just be sedated sometimes.
I'm going to disagree. I
Coward.
feel like that's been used in the past by bad people or governments.
Oh, come on.
Coward.
I'd like to not be sedated.
Trust your government.
Look, I'm not here for conspiracy theories. I don't want anyone sedating me.
Look, I said I'm talking about voluntary sedation here.
I
right.
do not volunteer as
Man.
tribute.
Get to be 40, you might change your mind. Just throw
Maybe.
in.
Actually, I'm not going to voluntarily be sedated either.
No,
For several days.
I mean, well, several days is a bit much.
I got things I got to do.
Nah. I mean, there are times where I like, dude, I could really use a long nap.
Yeah, as I'm saying, turn the gas up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to go that far, though. A little 20-minute power nap. Find my sweet spot.
I tell you what,
Can you imagine how groggy you would be after like being sedated for several days? It's like say you're sedated for 3, it takes you probably another 2 just to be getting back to
I would
normal.
say because my last hip surgery, I was sedated for almost 5 hours, which is a long time.
Yeah.
For that, like they don't like really going past I think 4,
Mhm.
but they will go further. It took me a day or 2
Yeah.
to come out of that, but then again, they gave me the fentanyl afterwards too. So
Oh. Yeah.
I thought we were getting rid of that.
Yeah. Totally.
well, they
normal.
did not want me moving.
Imagine like going on what happened in like 1976? Like could you imagine going on the sedated diet in 2001? You're like 9'8", you go in for 4 days and you come out, you're like, what happened? They're like, you don't, dude.
Your beard's down to your knees.
You're like, have no idea.
What if someone went in like on Friday night with their Luka Doncic Mavs jersey
right.
on, and they're just waking up right now?
That's right.
You might have been the one that broke the news to them.
Whoa!
Just
This
what
really
happened?
came at
It's
me
5 years.
quickly.
It's 5 years later. Luka Doncic is a Laker. Wait, what? What happened?
Dude, a cum would be trippy.
Oh God,
I also will not volunteer for that.
no, want no part of that. Hard pass.
Idiocracy would happen if you go like for 100 years. That's the whole premise of Idiocracy.
Smartest man alive.
That's right.
It's what plants crave.
Oh man.
All right. You know what? We probably can't find a way to get this in any otherwise. You want to talk a little Senior Bowl?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's get to some
do it.
Senior Bowl stuff before we get into hour number 3 on Danny and Dusty Today, the fan. Some quick news and notes coming out of the Senior Bowl that are Duck-centric, as both Jeffrey Bossa and Josh Connolly both received some honors coming out of the Senior Bowl weekend.
Well, yeah, they do voting at the Reese's Senior Bowl, and it is so weird. I think one thing that needs to change is they need to make it more aware of who is actually playing in the game, who's just practicing throughout the week. Because Tez Johnson, Terrence Ferguson practiced all week, didn't play. But Bossa was voted the linebacker of the week for, and it's voted on by, so the linebackers voted on by the running backs and the offensive linemen. And Connerly was voted the offensive lineman of the week by the defensive linemen and the linebackers. So it's a very good case in, hey, by the way, one viral video clip is not indicative of a complete body of work. Because Josh Connerly lost a rep very badly to Mike Green of Marshall. And there were people like his draft stock is falling. That could be further from the truth from what has been coming out of Mobile, Alabama about what happened. And he was actually voted offensive lineman of the week.
Look, you get that one viral tape that goes against you, and all of a sudden the narrative. Look,
that's what happens,
He got his butt kicked on a rep.
Dude,
it happens. And it was bad. And the guy who did the butt kicking literally walked off the field and said, I'm out.
Deuces. No more for you to see here.
You've seen the highlight reel. I'm good here.
I've done my work. I'm out. And look, Will Ortner's been a part of that. A guy on a rep jumps that snap, and he gets underneath you, and you just go,
it's curtains.
Oh, and you're too high.
You get tea kettled.
When you're in that wide, when that DN's in that wide 9, and you got to get out there and you got to start kicking, and you don't time your meeting point right, where you're to the meeting point, but you're not set and ready to go, that's a problem. And every O-lineman,
hands were wide, back
chest
was tall,
is up,
and
it's exposed. Every O-lineman has lost that, especially when you have a smaller defensive end going against you who already has the leverage. I mean, it happens, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get got.
Yep.
Look, it happens to the best tackles in the game. Like that's it. Look, watch TJ Watt on a given week and watch him just absolutely get under somebody's pads and push them into a quarterback.
You
go, oh, okay. It's like it's one thing when you see, like, it's one thing when Aaron Donald does it to you. It's like, you know it's coming. He's all of 5'11", 305 pounds, and he's just got arms for days and the leverage to begin with. You know the dates you're in for. But even the best offensive lineman, you're going to get got every now and then.
Yeah, and so it was good weeks for both Bossa. And Bossa, like everything that, I mean, he was touted as one of the winners throughout the course of the week by
Because he's a bit of a tweener.
all of the draft analysts. He's a guy that can cover in space. He'll be like a third down linebacker, but he'll make his money on special teams and being his leadership role.
He's a high leverage athlete guy.
And he is he's a guy that is not afraid to speak his voice. He has found his voice as a leader. He's really good at it. Dylan Gabriel had an okay week. I mean,
none of the quarterbacks really came out of the game shining, but nobody. Well,
there's a lot of fake love for guys out of that.
Dude, Jalen Milroe had some.
He had some bad ones, but then other people are like, "I made the throws." It's like they're all going to polish the quarterbacks. You never know. The measurements weren't good for Dylan, but when he actually played in the game, he looked
fine,
comfortable, and under command. I actually watched the Senior Bowl because I was bored.
That'll happen.
I had nothing to do. I had nothing to do on a Saturday.
You liked it, didn't you?
It was comforting.
There you go.
Yeah, it was comforting.
When was the last time you had nothing to do on a Saturday?
A long time.
I was say
long time.
Was it perhaps like March?
August. It was August. It's been a while. But overall, it was good. And now, like, there's a lot of buzz. Matt Miller of ESPN, he pushed Terrence Ferguson up into a second round, like a day 2 projection. So, look, a lot of good can come from the Senior Bowl, and that's a really cool thing. The Senior Bowl actually means something, and guys are going to it, whether they're playing or not. That is good to see that avenue is there.
And speaking of drafts coming up after the Super Bowl, we'll start diving into mock draft season. I can't believe that's already here. But coming up next, let's look back over to the NBA and what the Trailblazers have done over the last 2 weeks and kind of what to look forward to over the next less than 48 hours as the NBA trade deadline is rapidly approaching. Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are back in action tonight. They're taking on the Pacers. Blazers want to stay red hot. They're going for their 5th win in a row, and it would be their 9th win in their last 10 games. Right now, the Pacers are favored by 5.5. Tip-off for that game is going to be at 7 in the Moda Center. Before that one, the Dallas Mavericks are traveling to Philly. They're taking on the 76ers tonight. We're not going to get our first look at the Mavs with Anthony Davis. He's out with a foot injury. No Kyrie Irving either. He's out with an injury. No Joel Embiid for the 76ers. He's out with a knee injury. Philly is favored by 3.5. Tip-off for that game at 4. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 10.
How about you shut up?
This is Danny and Dusty on Super Week.
Injured? Don't trust just anyone to something so personal. Call George McCoy at Warren Allen. Online at warrenallen.com.
Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Tuesday afternoon. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along at youtube.com/1080am the fan or twitch.tv/1080am the fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Flip it back to the NBA for a little bit for the Portland Trailblazers. A little bit of housekeeping as mildly breaking news as the draft has been conducted for the Rising Stars Challenge between Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, and Tim Hardaway Sr., selecting from the groups of freshmen and sophomores in the NBA. Mitch Richmond's team consists of Tumani Kamara, Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Scoot Henderson, Yves Missy, Amen Thompson, and Asar Thompson. They won't score, but my God, they will defend.
God, nobody. They're just going to suffocate you? Is this a full court game?
Indeed it is.
I still don't even really know how this is.
I believe
5-on-5.
5-on-5. Each team is 8. I think these are played till Elam 20 or 21, and then the other main floor games are played till Elam ending of 40.
Okay. So by the way, the Elam ending is there's a set score to get to, and then once you get there, game over. Instead of having time, which incentivize scoring, except for if you're Mitch Richmond's team. I don't know if anybody scores 21. You could be there all night. All right. Well, hey, 2 Blazers teamed up. I kind of wanted them separated. Is that weird?
No.
But
also, nobody's scoring on this team.
Maybe they can.
Nobody is scoring on this team.
Maybe they can recruit some guys to come play for the Blazers in the future. That's what happens at All-Star Weekend.
That's what you start doing.
Super teams are made.
Start doing that. And as it pertains to the NBA trade deadline, there are reports, both public and private, circulating around the Phoenix Suns.
Blazers broke them, dude.
Yeah, that actually seems to be some prevailing thought right now, is that after back-to-back losses to the Portland Trailblazers, there is some soul-searching going on in Phoenix right now, and they are currently listening to offers and overtures for Kevin Durant. They are not ready to move on from Devin Booker. There's reports that the Houston Rockets have basically hung up the phone on the Phoenix Suns unless they are talking about Devin Booker. They will not give up their young players for Kevin Durant. They will for Devin Booker. It is a commonly held belief that that's what the Houston Rockets are waiting for, is for Devin Booker to ask out. He's the kind of player they want to pair with the Amen Thompson types, because they can give up a Jalen Green. Like, they don't. I would say Amen is the most untouchable player on that roster. They are much more likely to move a Jalen Green or even an Alperen Şengün before moving on from Amen Thompson.
Where's he from? Booker. Is he from
Louisiana?
He's from Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you never get from him. Like, you don't hear him talk like he's from down there.
Well, he's born in Michigan, it says.
Did he grow up
in?
He grew up down south.
He went to high school in both Michigan and Mississippi.
Moss
Point,
that's
Mississippi.
What it was.
Yeah, it appears he moved there during high school.
Okay.
I had usually you get an idea. I had no idea where he ever.
No, he did, because he doesn't have any like regional dialect. Like, if you talk to him, he just sounds like he's from L.A.
Sure.
Like, you just talking to him, he is that kind of pacing and sound to his voice. He doesn't. But I think a lot of that is kind of being an AAU guy and going to Kentucky. You just kind of get in that culture pretty quick.
Yeah. I don't imagine he'll be up for grabs anytime
No.
soon, though. That Bradley Beal trade may go down as one of the worst. Think of
bare
that.
minimum, getting rid of if you're going to make the deal, you make him give up the no trade clause.
But nobody won that trade.
No. Well, the Wizards kind of did because they don't have to deal with it.
But the Wizards haven't done anything with anything that they got from that trade.
No, but I think the win was getting off the deal.
God,
'Cause again,
was it? They have 4 wins. They could have just rolled them out there and still been this bad.
But also, they couldn't facilitate any other additional deals. And doesn't he have 2 more years?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2. That's the win. Is they got off of 3 years of $50, $53, and $57 million. Because I'm going to tell you right now, he is opting into that deal, that player option. Oh yeah, baby.
He's never going to get that money anywhere else.
No.
Ever again.
No.
Yeah.
Shouts to you, Phoenix. Enjoy.
So Kevin Durant is the likely guy to be moved out of town then. And
I would never say likely, but there's been noise all morning, just getting text after text after text of like, dude, it sounds like they're legitimately getting ready to move Kevin Durant.
Golden State?
They're up there. Now, Golden State is flagged that they're going after everybody, and it's feeling very Danny Ainge-esque to me, of like, look how hard we're trying. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of that of like, oh, if they had just called us one more time, we would have beat their offer. It's like, okay, Danny, calm down. But it does sound like after the Luka trade, I spoke to a handful of general managers last night, and I asked them all the same version of the question. After the Luka deal, is there a renewed sense of fervor or urgency to place those check-in calls? Because what people don't know is that every front office everywhere takes calls on every single player on the roster. They're just check-ins. Hey, how are you feeling about Giannis right now?
It's the whole John Lynch checking in on Brady, and they said, well, you want Jimmy?
Yeah.
And they got Jimmy Garoppolo.
100%.
Yeah.
And every single one of them said, everyone is making phone calls. There is no stone being on. After Luka got traded for that, everyone is calling everyone and being like, hey, you interested in moving X player? Like, because if you are, let's talk.
And that's where, I think we should ratchet up the pressure on the Blazers, right? To do something. If there's movement, be a part of the movement, because what are you going to lose? What are you going to lose? Get in on one of these deals and try to make some waves. I look at Golden State, though, and Golden State wanting to make a deal to keep the window open for Steph to keep winning. What do they have to offer that will be incentive for somebody to bite on? Is it
Wiggins, Kuminga, Pods, and picks? Those are the only viable assets they have.
And Kuminga is entering restricted free agency.
Don't want to be the guy. You're basically paying for the option to pay him.
Wiggins has 2 more years with a player option,
which in his deal's not bad.
And then you have,
if you believe that he's going to be the player that you think he can be.
Pods is on a rookie deal, and I don't know if you can win a championship if you're Golden State without him, because you're going to have somebody who is good enough and cheap.
Yeah, I don't know if he hits the first bar.
Good enough?
Yeah.
Well, if people are going to be calling on him, because then it just...
You need cheap talent.
I wonder how much Schroeder is available, though.
Oh, he's 100% available.
Well, because that deal right there is a facilitator, an expiring contract at $13 million. He's going to be a guy who's moved.
Marcus Spears was just on ESPN, and he said that Dennis Schroeder is available. Coincidentally enough, apparently Dennis Schroeder said that the current NBA trade climate and deadline is modern-day slavery. So, yeah, no, he's very available.
Huh.
Which, I don't know. Being German and making that connotation, maybe just don't. Don't.
That's
read the room, brother.
That's brutal.
Just read the room. It's not.
You're getting paid $13 million this year,
and nobody likes you.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he not? He's not a liked guy.
No.
Not just because of this comment.
No. He. Some have said it's like a cultural norm thing, because like Jeff Teague's been very open about this. He's mentioned it on his podcast. Like Dennis Schroeder was a kid. He was like, yeah, he goes, Dennis would come in and show me the texts from Danny Ferry of like, how my numbers were getting better in like per 36 and how I was going to be the starter soon. He's like, don't show that stuff to me. I'm the starter, dog. You're talking about replacing me.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And like, is Dennis an a-hole or is he just an idiot?
Well, I don't know.
A little column A, a little bit of column B?
Yeah, the Germans are very direct.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the cultural part of this, like that, but also he has been the guy for the German national team.
Yeah.
Like that they look to and who, because he might be blunt and direct. And so there's some stuff there, but yeah, he's a guy that's definitely ruffled some feathers at basically every stop. Look, the Nets were in a hurry to get rid of him, not just because they were winning, because they were done with the Dennis Schroeder project.
Gosh.
Look, they moved him for D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, D'Angelo Russell.
Not beloved.
Professional bag getter.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell.
2-time Laker, 2-time Net.
Dude. Not
Impressive.
bad being like Brooklyn and
Bi-coastal?
LA, though.
You keep a crib on each spot?
Yeah, come on.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all. I mean, he's never been like sent to Indiana.
No.
Portland. You know, he's been keeping
He's not getting the Malcolm Brogdon path of getting sent from Indiana to Boston to Portland to Charlotte or to Washington.
Washington, yeah. I mean,
man, I spoke too soon. Charlotte soon.
And then you can flip coasts and like keep up on the fashion trends. Like D'Angelo Russell's living that dream right now. Good for him.
And getting a lot of money to do it.
God bless him.
You came across a little bit of breaking news as it pertains to the football world and NIL and what one state is doing to get a leg up on the other 49. We'll get to that next year on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Quick little NBA news update. Joel Embiid making his return tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers against the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, he still plays?
Yeah.
I thought he
So after the
retired.
Dallas Mavericks and the 76ers made a trade, he's going to play tonight.
Wow.
The rare locker room switch for Quentin Grimes and Cody Martin. So there you go.
What a
Or
weird
Caleb
trade.
Martin. Yeah, it was very weird. I don't know why they gave up Quentin Grimes. Among a million other things the Mavs are doing right now. But let's flip it to a state a few over from Texas into Georgia. The Peach State dropped a little bit of news that could have a massive impact on college football.
Yeah, this is a weird one. It's an advantage. This is actually a huge advantage. There's a bill introduced in the state of Georgia that would create a tax exemption on income tax for athletes who get money for their name, image, and likeness. Now, this is interesting because it's all framed as like college sports in name, image, and likeness, but because it says to amend Chapter 7 of Title 8 of the official blah, 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 relating to income taxes so as to exempt from taxable net income compensation of athletes for the use of the athlete's name, image, or likeness to provide for related matters, to provide for applicability, to repeal conflicting laws or other purposes. So basically what they're saying is income received for student athletes is not under income tax laws in the state of Georgia. You're talking a big advantage.
Tax-free millies?
A huge
Tax-free
advantage
millies?
for Georgia, Georgia Tech. I mean, that could be a game changer.
It's
there.
the opposite of the jock tax.
Yeah.
It's an enticement to come here.
Uh-huh.
That's massive. And for, look, I'm going to say something remotely political right now. For all the people like, that's money that could go to services. It wasn't going to services before anyways because it was under the table.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they're just, the bagmen have infiltrated the legislature now, and they're like, hey,
we need to make this big. The taxes are taking too much off this, and we're losing to California and Ohio.
man,
over
I
this.
wonder how many, because this is what happened with NIL. When one state started passing the law, everybody else was like falling in line. It's a big factor for these college athletes who are now getting privy
Tell
to
you
it.
right now, states like Oregon, Washington, and California, I don't know if they have the capacity to go
Well,
down those.
Washington has no state income tax.
Well, no, but I mean, as far as like the jock tax stuff like that.
No, they have none.
I thought Washington did have one.
Mm-mm. No, it's one of the few that doesn't.
Why do I think Washington?
Washington, Texas, Tennessee,
Oregon, and
DC?
California both do.
Yeah, DC maybe the other one that
But
doesn't.
okay, so let's talk about just the Big Ten teams that are out here in Oregon and USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
I don't see either of those states going down that path.
No, but I will say Oregon was very quick to jump on NIL when that first got pushed through,
100%.
So I don't know. I have no idea though. This is a different one. Okay, so no jock tax in Florida, Washington, D.C., Tennessee, and Texas. Those are the only states that don't have a
Good
jock
Lord.
tax. Yeah. Jock tax is athletes getting taxed on top of their income tax.
They also don't have Tennessee, Texas, Washington, Wyoming don't have income tax either.
Yeah.
So again, there's
Big
kind
advantage.
Yeah.
Big advantage there.
So, it's one of those. So maybe Washington is a state that could go down this path.
Well, they don't need
Well,
to.
no, I'm saying like as far as like 100%.
Their NIL should be better than
Yes.
it is right now. Is what?
Is what,
the deal is,
that's basically it. I should say not go down this path, but like use this as leverage.
Well, they haven't really been doing a great job
But
of it.
No, that's my point. Yeah, like that should be something they should be doing better with.
Is this one of the reasons why UNLV is such a possible, like it's kind of a coveted team? Because Nevada doesn't have a state income tax. And I get that they're in Vegas, but
it's the money in Vegas more than anything because these casino magnates are looking around and there's only so many things they can invest in. The NFL team's already controlled. The WNBA team's already controlled. The NHL team's already controlled. The only thing you really have left is Major League Baseball, which I still don't believe the team's going to play there. I don't think the A's are going to end up there. I genuinely don't believe
they tore down the area. When I was there, I was right next to it. And
It was coming down anyway.
I think they're going to build another casino there. I refuse to believe they're going to build a ballpark there
They're
until
gonna-
they actually build a ballpark there.
Yeah.
I think they're going to build another casino.
This text on the Vancouver Ford text line, are you sure you're reading that Georgia law proposal correctly? It sounded like payments of athletes for NIL can be deductions on income tax for donors. No, it says here, according to Mitt Winter, great name.
That's a Mitt? Oh.
Mitt Winter, who is a college athletics attorney, it said it would exempt NIL compensation received by college athletes from state income tax.
So specifically the receiver, the
Yeah.
payee.
That coming
the payroll
from
work.
college athletics lawyer himself. So,
Oof.
yeah, hot damn. And basically, they're saying that the whole reason Georgia's doing this is because what are the names of the states that we just said? Tennessee, Florida, Texas. They are all in SEC country.
Uh-huh.
They are keeping up with everybody else who's been using this as a recruiting advantage. And now Georgia's saying it will no longer be a disadvantage for us.
Dare I say I would go as far as to say that those states and those schools, to an extent, with Florida State notwithstanding, but Florida, Tennessee, Texas, as part of the SEC, have overtaken the traditional powers in the SEC as far as how they manage NIL.
Yeah, because Alabama had a tough time getting it off the ground because they were stuck in their old ways. Ole Miss, I don't know if they've even changed. They may just be doing the bagman thing still.
Like nobody cares
And
about
they're
us
just
this
like,
here.
whatever. LSU has got a
Oh, yeah.
war chest that they've been dealing out.
But I mean, Texas is officially
Yeah.
back because they got it under control.
Oh,
Tennessee
absolutely.
has come back out of nowhere over the last couple of years, and even Florida, despite that S show,
Texas
has really got their stuff together over the last 6 months.
Texas just has more money than God.
Yes.
Tennessee was the first to have multiple collectives with a pointed, directed focus.
And their government was behind them.
And they got it done quickly.
Their
They got it up
their
off the ground in
what-
an instant.
What was the legislature that gave them the early leg up? There was something they
don't
did. I
remember.
remember talking about like 2 years ago, where they passed something to protect NIL or make it exempt or something along those
Tennessee's turning
lines.
it around, man. They've
Which,
come
I
a long
mean-
way from Jeremy Pruitt with McDonald's bag full of cash.
I mean,
That's what happened.
They're doing good, and like you're seeing a lot of the SEC schools take off in basketball.
Yeah, that's what I
too.
mean. Like,
the
it's
NIL
not
is
just football.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean Tennessee's
a great basketball school again on both sides.
It's boring watching it though. They're really good at defense.
Well, yeah, it's Rick Barnes, dude.
Yeah.
Get it together, bro.
Hey,
What you
I've
know about
won
Rick
money
Barnes?
on them. It's just boring.
Okay, yeah. That's not boring, though, winning the money.
And a state with no
Actually,
income tax.
you're the good guy to talk to about this.
Am I?
Yeah. Do you bet on Eastern Michigan, North Carolina State,
basketball,
Mississippi Valley State basketball,
North Carolina A&T?
Yeah,
No,
North Carolina A&T.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when the tournament happens, like, yeah, I'll bet every game in the tournament.
Yeah, all
but
right.
I'm not looking for
I just
hot
had-
Missouri Valley Conference late night action.
Yeah.
So you weren't listening yesterday.
Yeah, you weren't. You didn't see it. The
What
gambling ring that Jonte Porter was mixed up in. The five guys who were the ringleaders of it had massive bets on North Carolina A&T, Eastern Michigan, and Mississippi Valley State games.
You can say a lot of things about me and my gambling, and trust me, people have. But you can't ever say one, massive bets, and you also can't say lots of gambling on Missouri State or Missouri Valley Conference games.
Will is saying stop shaming his unit.
Yeah.
My unit's just fine.
Yeah.
It gets the job done, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's about
It's
a
a small-
bunch of
it's a small
small
unit.
units.
It is a small unit. That's right.
And then
but I
eventually you can get a
stick
big
to
one.
my unit.
It's a, yeah.
I stick to it.
Yeah.
But it's better you sticking to that than sticking it to him.
It's well, okay.
Are you not talking about my gambling size right now?
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
I'm very confused. I thought we were talking about how much money I bet each time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so did
That's
I.
the
It was
world
under
we're
that
in.
impressive.
We didn't actually talk about the Blazers last segment when I said we were going to talk about the Blazers. So
Oh, yeah.
let's actually talk about the Blazers.
Let's do it.
Coming up next year. But first, here's Big Will Bets with the Sports Center Update.
It's a Super Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Sports Center is brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on the Fan, your Portland Trail Blazers are red hot, going for their 5th win in a row over the Indiana Pacers tonight in the Moda Center. Right now, the Pacers are favored by 5.5. The total is set at 231.5. Tip-off for that game at 7. In Miami, despite asking for a trade from the organization, Heat star Jimmy Butler has made it clear that to the Golden State Warriors that he does not plan on signing a contract extension with the team if they trade for him. This essentially stops any trade talks of Butler to the Warriors. Over in the NFL, Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, he's posted on social media that he was told by the organization that they will trade him in the offseason. Kupp has been with the Rams since they drafted him in 2017. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080. The Fan.
Your favorite fan of Danny and Dusty
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
It's official. The Portland Trailblazers are the hottest team in the NBA. Like it's not even a joke right now. Like I've gotten texts from a couple of scouts over the last 4 or 5 days of like, hey, last time I saw you in like November, December, it was pretty miserable. How does it feel to be there watching the hottest team in the league? And it's said with a little bit of tongue in cheek, but they're also like, you guys are playing really well up there. And there's a couple caveats. It's a young athletic team.
Mm-hmm.
It's February basketball, and you're getting close to the trade deadline. And yes, you have played some teams that are in a funk.
8 of the last 9 they've won.
Mm-hmm.
7 of those wins have come against teams that are in playoff position. Tonight, the second of a back-to-back after a game you go into overtime against the Phoenix Suns, going up against a Pacers team that is currently sitting 4th in the East and has won 4 games in a row in their own right. Like this is going to be all right. We'll kind of see what happens. Remember, the loss was to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes, by 10. It was a relatively close game until the final minutes.
But it still was decided by double digits, and that's kind of where this team is at. But they are playing good basketball right now, and it really is the guy who has been really the anchor of what they've been doing is a guy who was unplayable. You see Channing Frye?
He did. Channing gave DeAndre Ayton his love. For everybody who asked me, who's Channing talking about? It was DeAndre.
We all knew who he was talking about.
The
It was
fact that
DeAndre Ayton.
the people didn't know that. It was like, come on, guys.
Yeah. But DeAndre Ayton has been playing lights out, and last night he was absolutely incredible. He was 25 points, 20 rebounds. We went through this early in the show. It's only been done 11 other times in franchise history, and he becomes the 7th person ever to do it.
And Dusty and I, when we got to the break, we both did the same thing. We started looking at career all-time rebounding leaders for the Trailblazers, and we went, wow, this hasn't been done more often. But
yeah, the crazy part about it is the guys who've done the 25 and 20, which is what DA did last night, right? LaMarcus Aldridge did it 5 times. Zach Randolph did it twice.
The Randolph only doing it twice was the one that got me because that man was a rebounding monster.
But Jerome, Buck, Sabas, and Nurk are the only other guys to do it. And DeAndre Ayton added his name to that list. That's incredible.
No Bill Walton, no Mo Lucas,
no Rasheed Wallace.
And again, I know Greg only played 82 games, but I'm still surprised Greg didn't get one because when he did stuff, he was like 15 and 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a freaking monster on the glass.
And that kind of highlights how special the night was last night that DeAndre Ayton had. The one thing that I think everybody has been wanting to see, and it's still the biggest question mark, DeAndre Ayton, when he is playing the way that he is right now, you know exactly why he was drafted #1 overall. You know why he was the #1 recruit in the country coming out of high school. This is who DeAndre Ayton can be. But consistency is the bane of his existence is that his highs are as high as they possibly can be. His lows, they get down to the cellar. And can you keep the highs at a high level for an extended period of time? He hasn't proven that over his career. That's what you want to see with every other guy on this roster, though, because it's kind of the sticking point with everybody in Portland right now. It's why nobody expected them to, pass that threshold of 25 wins, which they're almost to.
I'm just now seeing a stat here. I've given 2 players probably the lion's share of the credit for this run, and it's DA and Tumani. You know which 2 players have the highest plus-minus over the last 9 games?
DA and Tumani?
Yep. DA has a +17. Tumani Camara has a 13.8.
They've been really damn good.
Again, DA's only played in 6 of the last 9 because he missed a couple games with the knee injury. In those 6 games, the Blazers are 6-0. DA is averaging 22 and 13.
That seems good.
On 61% shooting from the floor.
That seems really good.
In those 9 games, DeAndre Ayton is their leading scorer, but Denny Avdia is averaging 19. Anthony Simons is averaging 19. Shaedon Sharpe is averaging 14. Jeremy Grant is averaging 14. Scoot Henderson is averaging 14. Tumani Camara is averaging 13. That is 7 players giving you double figures.
Yeah.
Okay? The other thing that you need to look at, Denny Avdia is shooting 51% from the floor, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Anthony Simons is shooting 40% from 3, giving you 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Shaden Sharp is shooting 42, 37, 81, giving you 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Jeremy Grant is shooting 40% from 3, and his box score stuff is never going to jump out at you, but his defense has been otherworldly. I've talked to opponents over the last couple of games and like, no, JG's locked in. Scoot Henderson shooting 46, 40, 82, giving you 14, 6, and 3.
Not bad.
You're getting production up and down the roster. And the thing that I will always hammer home, it's nice when you have 7 guys that can do this. You still need one guy that can ring the bell every single night. But for right now, the guy that is ringing the bell for them every single night is DeAndre freaking Ayton.
Yeah, and I think that this is the issue, though, and we talked about this earlier, is that this is all fine and dandy, but it will never get you over the hump.
No.
And that is where I understand the criticisms of what is the direction right now? Because developing these young guys, if that's going to be the direction, you're going to be stuck. And that's a tough spot to be in for fans.
The thing that I will say with regard to that is that for all of the, the young guys playing that people think they'll win games, I'm telling you right now, if you take Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton off this team and you sit them down, they will lose a lot of games. I just mentioned your 2 basically leading scorers are Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton. And it's your leading rebounder and it's your leading creator. You take those guys off, they will struggle. They will struggle mightily.
No doubt.
Like, will they win some games? Yeah, they will, because Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, Denny Avdia, Toumani Camara, they can get hot.
Yeah.
This is an interesting text. Is there any chance that the recent success of Portland is due to the fact that Denny and Toumani are much better than we thought 40 games ago?
Yes.
Yeah, but also this is what they thought when they got Denny Avdia. The thing that I said that he was going to probably do when given the time and the run out and like what I expected from him was 18, 8, and 5. 18, 8, and 5. It's the same line that I have said Scoot Henderson at his best. With Denny, it's 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. With Scoot Henderson, it's 18 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. That's what they're looking at from Denny. And again, Denny right now is averaging 19, 7, and 4.
And that's exactly what you want. You want to see development. You want to see growth. And as bad as it is right now that they are not going to have the best odds. They're not even going to be in the top 5 best odds to get Cooper Flagg, Harper, Bailey, any of those guys.
Diakashionis, I mean,
they're not going to be there.
Well, they're not going to have the odds.
They're not going to have the odds to be there.
Yes.
The reality of it is that they weren't going to suck to a magnitude that the Wizards or the Utah Jazz were going to, regardless.
No, that was always the case. They were never going to be that bad.
But to not be in a situation where your lottery odds, because we've talked about this, the drop off from 6 to 7, 7 to 8,
5 to 7 is pretty significant.
It's
not even just the number 1 pick odds; it's the top 4 pick odds,
and that's where you want to be at.
Yes.
And this run is in all likelihood costing them the odds there. That's not to say they can't do it. What happened last year with Atlanta?
Yeah, and here's the other thing.
But it makes it harder.
This run is it feels weird like qualifying this. This run is more believable and more like you feel like you're getting more out of it than the games early. I will go back to this when it's all said and done. The run I will blame is not this run.
It's early in the year.
It's early in the year where they got 5 wins that nobody expected them to get when they weren't playing good. The teams that they played, the Pelicans and the Timberwolves, number one, the Pelicans had nobody. And then the Timberwolves playing like absolute dog poo. They got wins in a period that no one expected, nor should they have gotten. And that's where I will die on that hill, because if they have 5 less wins right now, where are they? They're right in the pack with everyone else. But
they got
the wins. But like that's the one where I go, the luck gods win against you in those games when you're talking about draft lottery.
Well, that's why I hope the basketball gods will shine brightly on the Portland Trailblazers for playing hard right now, and they will shine on them in May.
This is not coming from the organization.
Because I'm hoping.
This is coming from the outside in, from other people in the NBA, of like, do you think the Blazers have like this thing about superstition in that they've been so egregious in their tanking over the last couple of years and it hasn't worked out for them, that maybe they can appease the basketball gods by just doing what you need to do and being responsible with your development and letting the cards fall where they may?
Nothing else is working, so why not?
Like this is something that people from other teams have asked me, and I'm like, I don't think anybody is organizationally that superstitious, but I would not put it out of the realm of possibilities.
Little stitious,
like a little, yeah, mildly stitious,
yeah,
medium stitious,
yeah,
not superstitious,
yeah, just a little bit, just a tiny bit of stitious. And this goes to what Nico Harrison said yesterday, right, in the Luka Doncic trade press conference, or I guess he said it on Sunday, but we had the audio yesterday. He said the easy thing is to just sit back and not do anything. And we decided we were going to make a big move. For the Portland Trailblazers, I don't
think you want to do that.
For the Portland Trailblazers, would it behoove them to maybe pull that page out of Harrison's playbook and say, short term, it will not help us, but in the long run, we feel like there will be a guy, young pieces, young players, that we trade, and it does not help us this year because that's not really the goal right now. But in the long run, it can. Because we saw it took, 40 games for Denny Avdia to really start clicking and move. And that was a move that they gave up. They gave up some assets, right? Brogdon, 14th pick.
2 firsts and 2 seconds. Yeah.
Now, you go and you do something along those lines, maybe not that much freight, but you give a young, promising player who is actually playing really well right now. I don't know what that looks like. And you say, we're banking on this future because we know with the core that we have, with the guys that we have right now, we're not getting over the hump and none of them are the star.
And as a reminder, and this is not me going to bat for the organization, you guys, they did not get out, they did not go public. The Blazers and the Wizards talked about Denny Avdia at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
The Blazers were not comfortable with dealing that pick at that point in time. They wanted to see kind of where things were because it was up in the air and it could have ended up 5th, 6th, or 7th, and it has more value at that point in time.
Yeah.
So even in a down draft, they wanted to make sure they knew kind of where the odds laid. And when they got done with it, they came back to the Wizards and they got a deal that made sense for both sides, and they got Denny Avdia.
Okay.
So, look, I want them to make a move.
I do too.
Thursday or by Thursday. I don't think they will. So, but the Portland Trailblazers do take on the Indiana Pacers, and can they keep it going? I guess we can kind of dive in that to.
Well, no, I got another thought.
You get another thought?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see Rob Pelinka today?
Oh, the suit?
We need to talk about
okay.
Rob Pelinka.
We'll talk about that next.
We need
next
to
here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. Hey, look, let me ask you something. Does your bathroom need a serious upgrade? I found YHIC, your home improvement company. Let me tell you, they make transforming your bathroom easier than I ever imagined. Transform your space up to 30% off on a bathroom remodel. Imagine turning your bathroom into a spa-like retreat. Call 503-837-2348 today to schedule your free in-home consultation. This is a limited time offer you don't want to miss. Let me repeat that. Get up to 30% off a bathroom remodel. Call 503-837-2348 right now. That's 503-837-2348. You're going to love the difference with your home improvement company. Go to YHIC. is officially unveiled as a Laker today. Boy, yeah, I hate to say that. Rob Pelinka came out dressed like I don't even know what
I know exactly what it is.
What is it?
It's Rob Lowe playing Anthony Kiedis in a biopic.
The jacket zipped up quarter and then unzipped an eighth.
Dude, he looks. That's the closest thing that I can come up with. Is it looks like Rob Pelinka is Rob Lowe playing Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers lead singer. That it is the damnedest thing in the fact that
Because Nico did give it away now.
Yeah, he did.